gnarliest trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Athletes know how important it is to stay hydrated. But did you know there are other ways to hydrate besides just drinking water? In fact, milk is a great hydration option because it actually contains water as well as electrolytes that are lost when your body sweats. So consider taking milk along with you to your next game or competition and enjoy the taste of greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
You train, you sweat, you practice, you go for the gold, you give 110%, but most of all, you aim for greatness. And milk is the performance enhancer that can help get you to your goal. Trusted by athletes and backed by science, there's a healthy helping of greatness in every refreshing glass of milk. So let nature's original sports drink help quench your thirst for greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process. It's readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Good evening and welcome into this IdahoSports.com Game Streams production of the 2021 Idaho State Football Tournament. Tournament coverage on IdahoSports.com is brought to you by the Idaho Division of Public Health, your local Toyota dealer, Valley-wide Co-op and Country Stores, and Project Filter. Stop smoking, start living. We are living tonight inside Holt Arena in Pocatello, a 3A quarterfinal matchup. It's the 5th-seeded MarshValley Eagles up against the 4th-seeded Sugar-Salem Diggers. Hi, everybody. Inside the broadcast booth, Brandon Bainey alongside Lance Taylor. Lance, these teams seem to meet up every year, and this year they're going to meet up twice.
Yeah, they are. In fact, they saw each other in the early part of the season. Usually your non-conference schedule is going to take place there anyway. I've had a number of opportunities to see Sugar play this year. I've also had a couple of opportunities to watch MarshValley going all the way back to their first game as they were part of the Rocky Mountain Rumble Idaho versus Utah series.
Yeah, so we talked about these two teams met in the regular season. It was back in September 17th. The Diggers won that night 28-14. What can they take from that victory over MarshValley and apply to the rematch tonight?
Well, I think there's a couple things you look at first. One is that what worked against them that first night. And we're going to continue on that plane until they prove that they've done the adjustments that it takes to stop what was working for us. But you also got to have some other things based upon scouting that you've done. You know, teams change from the first to the end of the season. MarshValley is going to be different from the first to the end. We know Sugar's certainly different from the first to the end as well. And so I think you go back, you come out using what worked for you before, make them prove that they've made the adjustments to stop that, and then from there you base it upon your scouting if they do.
Sugar-Salem, of course, the defending 3A state champs. They started 0-2, and you thought the sky was falling, but they managed to turn it around. They've now won 6 in a row to bring a 6-2 record into tonight's contest.
Yeah, and won a lot of those games handily, and did it over some good teams. I think part of it was, and I had a good chance to speak with Tyler Richens on several different occasions, and I think what you saw with the Sugar team was you saw a lot of young players, and players that were physically ready to play the varsity game, but you still have to learn to play at that level. And it took them a few games. And, of course, when you have a veteran like Ryan Harris that goes out with a broken collarbone during the Rocky Mountain Rumble, second possession of the ballgame or third possession of the ballgame, that hurts a team right off the bat. So what you're left with is a couple running backs without that same experience. They've got to learn how you hit holes at the varsity level. It's a little different than you hit them at the JV level. You might be able to bowl through them at JV. In varsity, you got to follow your blockers a little better, those kind of things. And what happened after those first 2 games, players started learning how to play that varsity game.
So Sugar 6-2. MarshValley comes in with a 4-4 mark. It's been an up and down. They started off 1-3. We talked about it at the Rocky Mountain Rumble. They lost to Beaver, Utah, defending state champ from Utah, 21.
And a very good Beaver team too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, defending state champs,
yeah.
Right? They lost 21-20. They were shut out by Westside, the 2A powerhouse, 28-0. That third loss to Sugar, 28-14. They were sitting at 1-3, knowing that if they could win their conference games, they could get this thing turned around, and that's exactly what happened. They beat Snake River 26-7 on a rainy, muddy night in Aramo, and then they defeated American Falls 27-0 in the regular season finale. This is a team that I think is starting to find its stride. The problem is depth. All of their best players on offense are also their best players on defense.
Yeah, of course, we talk about it nonstop at the 1A level, also at the 2A level, that your best players are typically almost always going both ways. You see that not on as high a skill at the 3A level, but MarshValley happens to be one of those teams. They've got a lot of good athletes that play both sides of the ball. And where does that start playing a difference? Well, not so much in quarter number 1 and 2, but in that fourth quarter, that's when that tends to start to play a difference on you. When other teams have been able to sub players out, give them a little bit of a blow for, a series, maybe 2 series, things like that.
MarshValley in that loss to Sugar-Salem showed incredible balance. That's the good news. The bad news is the yardage was still pretty low. They had 109 yards passing, 129 yards rushing. That's what MarshValley wants to do. They want to keep this a low-scoring defensive game. Yeah,
MarshValley does have, they do run a spread, but they also have the ability to keep it on the ground and run a lot of time off the clock. Anytime you have the ability to clock manage, you can keep games close. Sometimes with certain teams as you go out there, and coaches, they don't always say this necessarily to their players, but they're always honest amongst themselves where they say, hey, listen, here's probably the reasonable amount of points that we can really put up on the scoreboard against this team. So we've got to keep a game under X amount if we want to do that. And if we want to have a chance to win. So what do? You do that by controlling the clock. And MarshValley has the ability to control the clock.
MarshValley averaging 20.3 points per game, allowing 16.8. That's only a differential of 3, so basically a field goal. Sugar averaging 27.9 points per game, only allowing 10.1. The defense has really found its stride. That's a differential of 17 points per game.
Yeah, it is. And I think as you come into a game like this and you look at the strengths of both these teams, I would have to say if both these teams played their best football tonight, then I think Sugar's best is better than MarshValley's best, if they both played their best game. However, rarely do you ever see that, occasionally at the college level, sometimes the NFL level. But I see this game to be to really grind out. I think you're going to see a lot of power running from the great runners that MarshValley has, and try to get through that initial defensive line and get into the secondary. And then I think with Sugar, you know what, you're going to see them spread that a little bit, plus run guys up the middle.
One more factor to consider, MarshValley has played a game inside Holt Arena this season. This will be Sugar-Salem's first game, and it can be a little daunting if you haven't been in here before, and especially after last year when nobody could be in here because of COVID-19. So it's been 2 years since Sugar has been able to be inside this building.
That's right. A lot of these games last year were hosted up at Madison High School that we're supposed to be in here. So a lot of them that had the option to choose their home field for these games, early round games, chose Madison High School. And of course the Rumble went to Madison High School anyway, which is traditionally held here in the Mini Dome. But you're right. It's a different ambiance. It's a different atmosphere. The depth perception is different in here, and so you'll advantage to MarshValley when it comes to having already played.
So we will take a quick break for our national anthem and come back with the opening kickoff. MarshValley Sugar-Salem next on IdahoSports.com.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
Dear Detour, you took us off-road on the gnarliest trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Welcome back to Holt Arena on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney alongside Lance Taylor as that big, humongous, majestic flag that unfurls from the mechanical device here at Holt Arena. It takes a while to wind it back up. So.
Yeah, it does. In fact, you were talking about that they're going to be putting some money into upgrading Holt Arena here. That might need to be one of the upgrades, is a new motor for that. And I think we go for about the 5 to 7 second motor, the one that can really whip that thing up. That flag's got to be 60 yards long.
We need a few more RPMs there to furl the flag back up. So
you do. Just quickly, I had misspoke, by the way, with Ryan Harris. I said broken collarbone. It was actually a dislocated elbow, not a broken collarbone earlier in the season. I'm so used to telling the story of what happened to Crew Clark last year when he broke his collarbone, wasn't able to come back till there was 2 games left, in the the last game of the regular season and then the playoffs. But it was actually a dislocated elbow is what happened to Ryan Harris.
Ryan Harris, such a great linebacker, awesome running back. They need him at linebacker a little more this season. So he'll get some carries on offense, but defense is really where he's going to make his bones. We'll have an opportunity to see that Sugar-Salem defense up first tonight, Lance. They won the toss, deferred to the second half, so they will be kicking off to MarshValley. The Eagles of MarshValley wearing the white jerseys with the white pants, the red stripes down the side. They've got those powder blue numbers that I can already tell are going to be tough to read from a broadcasting perspective.
Those are going to be very tough to read. Very, very tough. Hey, I got to give a quick shout out to my buddy Bruce Edwards from MarshValley. Bruce has just been a lifelong MarshValley fan. We go all the way back from, we were in high school at the same times, and Bruce, he actually left a message for me the other day. We always talk before the state tournaments, football, basketball, no matter what it is, and I was up in Montana at the time and didn't have a chance to answer the phone call at the time. When I got home, I had about 30 messages, and I've been going through those the last few days. So anyway, Bruce, just so you know, I wasn't avoiding your calls, but I'm glad you called, bud, and I'll talk to you after tonight's game for sure.
And there probably will be plenty to talk about for sure.
Yep, there will.
MarshValley in the white jerseys with the powder blue numbers, the red helmets. Sugar-Salem in those dark blue jerseys with the white pants, white letters and numbers, black trim around them, and those white Sugar-Salem helmets with the blue Diggers logo.
And the numbers are so hard to read tonight. Sometimes if the numbers are hard to read, you might be able to cheat off the PA announcer a little bit. If you announce it and you borrow the. I don't think we're going to have that tonight. I think he's going to struggle because he's another 2 levels up higher than we are.
That's right. We're in the 7th floor. He's on the 8th here at Holt Arena.
We just have to have the air masks set aside on this level. He's got to have one on, I think, up there at the upper level. Is this kickoff from Contreras all the way down into the end zone? There's a good story in and of itself. Contreras, as he comes off that state championship soccer team, both kickers for Sugar-Salem does, as does Kyle Brunson. And Contreras, he puts it in the end zone. I've seen him with headwinds of probably 12, 15 miles an hour, and he still gets it to the end zone. He's just one of those kids.
Every kicker loves coming to the Dome to kick, a nice climate-controlled atmosphere. MarshValley on offense first and 10 from their own 20-yard line. They will be working left to right here in our opening quarter of action.
Roche has a fairly heavily taped right ankle on there. We'll see how that affects him. It usually doesn't affect him north to south, but there usually is some lateral effect that comes with that.
Hunter Roche with split backs behind him on first down. Handoff off the right side. Picks up 3.
Well, the Diggers quickly got in there. One of the things that I think MarshValley has to really look to do, what's important for MarshValley if they want their run game to get going, they've got to break through that initial line and get into the secondary. If they can break through that initial line, they'll control the clock that we talked about is so important for them, and they'll be very tough when it comes to getting the ball back and you being able to take time off the clock.
Absolutely. That was Bradley Belknap with the first down carry for MarshValley. He and Michael Belknap will be the 2 main backs for MarshValley tonight. 2nd and 7 from their own 23. Roche again under center. Split backs behind him. Toss play this time off the right side. Looks like Michael Belknap getting the call. And really nowhere to go. Blowing up that play for Sugar was Cooper Porter.
Yeah, Cooper Porter, one of the receivers as well that plays both ways. He got in there quick. And then one thing you'll notice about the Diggers are very good gang tacklers. So once one ties you up, if you don't go down, you're going to think twice about whether to go down early next time or not because they are going to come at you.
This is the Diggers defense only allowing 10 points per game on average. MarshValley facing a 3rd and 6 from their own 24-yard line. We'll see Roche out of a pistol formation for the first time tonight. 2 receivers either side of the formation. 10:40 to play opening quarter. No score.
And they are going to have single coverage. They're going to have single coverage on the left side, one on the right.
Roche over the middle. It's complete to Peyton Howe across the 40 and up to the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 19 and a first down.
Well, and there is rarely a team over these last 4 years that you talk about at MarshValley that Peyton Howe does not have a significant impact on. And Peyton Howe is a tremendous athlete. He was, as a sophomore in high school, he was our defensive player of the year at the state basketball tournament too. This kid is an athlete. He's a great receiver, great all-purpose player as well. In fact, leads them in all-purpose yards.
Peyton Howe, such a tremendous athlete. He's lined up at the bottom of the formation, far right side. Again, it's a 4 wide. Roche back to pass, taking a deep shot down the left sideline. It is caught and then broken up at the last moment at the 20-yard line. They were trying to go to Peyton Howe up the far side. He had it, and then great coverage by Trevin Holman to knock it out.
Yeah, Trevin Holman, he was able to keep up with him speed-wise, but wasn't really aware of where the ball was, and that could have been a catch just as easy as it was a miss. Holman, one of those kids that qualified last year in the 100-200 for the state track meet as well, and on a couple different state championship relay teams as well. That's a good speed matchup out on the corner.
A lot of state champions on this field in other sports. 2nd and 10 from their own 43. Roche will turn and hand off the left side, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. That's it, and we'll see which Belknap was on the carry this time. Looks like it was Michael Belknap.
Yeah, and Ryan Harrison on the tackle first for the Diggers. Of course, big Boyd Sorensen wearing number 82. A lot of you got used to Boyd Sorensen wearing 79 over the years. He is actually 82 down there on the field. Took that over a few games ago. He's done a little bit of running this year, too, just because of the injury to Harris early on in the season. Once their other backs kind of got it figured out, they moved him back to where he needed to be.
So Bradley Belknap on that last carry gets a yard to make it 3rd and 9 for MarshValley from their own 44. 9:20 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Roche out of a pistol, 2 receivers either side. Sugar showing blitz. Roche stepping up, pump fakes over the middle. It's caught just beyond the first down marker. They needed 9. They get 10 over the middle. And on the reception for MarshValley, Trying to see.
Folks, these numbers are very hard to read.
I think that was Michael Belknap coming out of the
I believe it
flat.
was Michael Belknap. One of the things you'll notice about both Bradley and Michael Belknap, they do the things perfect that are taught to you as a little kid. You're taught when you get hit, you keep your legs moving. They are those kids that tend to pick up extra yards here and there just simply out of effort by not just going down on the first bump.
1st and 10 from the Sugar 45-yard line. Roche under center, split backs behind him. Will turn and hand off the left side this time, and pickup of 2 before it's strung out for a stop for Sugar-Salem, and that's Michael Belknap on the carry again.
Yeah, number 20, Wyatt Harris, one of the smallest players on the field. He's also a running back for Sugar-Salem. First in on the tackle there, and he's one of those at his size at about 120 pounds roughly. It's tough to take somebody down at that, and that's where the gang tackle, of course, comes into play.
Yeah, Sugar does a great job of swarming to the ball, that's for sure. 8:05 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Opening drive of the game for MarshValley. A 2nd and 8 for the Eagles. Ball is at the Diggers' 43-yard line. Split backs again. It's an option play off the right side for Roche. Nowhere to pitch it. He's brought down in the backfield, and charging through for Sugar-Salem was Ryken Clay.
Yeah, Ryken Clay, also a basketball player. Of course, both those players, Ryken on the other side, Hunter, basketball players for their respective schools as well. And Ryken Clay got that out. That's one of the things. Dan Benyon, who's the defensive coordinator for Sugar, is really good. As quarterbacks keep it as an option. Of course, he came from being a position and a strength and conditioning coach at the college level at Southern Utah University, having played there as a player as well, and has made such a big difference in this program, and that is a tough play to pick up yardage on against a Sugar defense.
That play lost 3 to make it 3rd down and 11 from the 46-yard line, and looks like a timeout going to be taken here. Or no, delay of game. Penalty flag came from the back judge.
Yeah, and I didn't see that. I didn't notice that that's what it was, but as it is. But you know what? I'll tell you, on these plays or on these 3rd and longs, it has been Hunter Roche that's been able to find a way out of it. He's been able to find his receivers. He's done an excellent job, and we have yet to really see his running game yet tonight too, and he is exceptional at that.
3rd and 16 now for MarshValley. Ball back at their own 49-yard line. They crossed the 50. Roche rolling out on 3rd and 16 to the left side on the run. Will throw it short and incomplete. Around the Sugar 40-yard line, it'll be 4th down.
Yeah, Sugar playing a little bend, don't break on that. It was Holman again on the coverage, and had that ball been thrown a foot higher, I think that would have been a reception. You'd have still had 4th and a ways to go, but at least it would have been a little more manageable for you. And this is go-for-it range in high school football, typically.
Yeah, looks like MarshValley will line up to punt. Peyton Howe, the intended receiver on that last play. And Howe is lined up as the wide receiver on the far right. So we'll see. Never know when a fake punt might come. 6:50 to play opening quarter. MarshValley looks like they will just do a traditional boot. That's a good high punt. Will be bouncing inside the 20, the 15. Look at this baby roll all the way down to the 5-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Diggers.
What a great punt. A great punt to put that out there. And, so much of your punt has to do with the bounce as well. And if you can kick it high enough to where your players can get down there in time, then really the returner has a choice. You're either going to fair catch that and not get any yards after the catch, or you just got to let it bounce. In that case, he let it bounce and favor MarshValley on that bounce. Holy cow.
1st and 10 for the Diggers from their own 5, working right to left in this opening quarter. 6:38 to play in a scoreless opening period. Danny Neal under center for the Diggers with 2 backs behind him. They will start with a handoff the left side, and crossing the 5 and getting to the 6 for a gain of just a yard is Wyatt Harris.
Yeah, Wyatt Harris got in there. Also in there on the tackle, of course, you have Peyton Howe. He's going to find himself in somewhere as he came in and made sure after the initial hit that there wasn't going to be any additional yardage given after that initial hit. Wyatt Harris, not super big, but he's another one of those players that will move his feet, try to pick up those extra yards. Well, that's where a player like Peyton Howe now could come in from the secondary and pick that up.
Peyton Howe's won a state championship in basketball, baseball.
That's right.
Only thing left to check on the list is football.
In fact, MarshValley is your reigning state basketball champions for 3A.
2nd down and 8. It's going to be a draw play, and look at the yardage. The 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, and brought down at the 49-yard line. Rumbling is Carson Harris for a 1st down.
Carson Harris, Mario. He is not super tall, and those legs get moving. Of course, sitting here right next to us is one of his best friends. They've been great friends since they were just little teeny squirts, and neither one of them could take a daily shower. But other than that, old Carson's done a great job. And, he's one of those players this year as a sophomore. He's the younger brother of Ryan Harris, had to learn how to play the varsity game. And it took a couple games to do that.
That was a 43-yard gain for Carson Harris. It's 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem. Ball right at the 50. So much for that punt. Here's another handoff left side. Big hole for Harris again. This is Carson Harris taking it across the 40. Down to the 36, another 16 yards and a first down.
Yeah, and what's happening there is your left guard is taking out your right side defensive end on that play. He's taking him completely out of the play, and the secondary is another 4 to 5 yards off before they can come up and meet that. So if you don't angle that correctly, you end up coming around and chasing rather than hitting head on.
And the hole opens up like the parting of the Red Sea. 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem. Ball at the MarshValley 36, 4:50 to play, opening quarter. Neal out of the gun, handoff off the right side this time. Ryan Harris first carry, but penalty flags fly.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an illegal block on the Diggers. It might be a illegal block below the...
It looks like a...
Oh, they're going to call it a hold.
We had 3 different officials throw the yellow flag on that play.
Yeah. Well, we saw one throw it. This is actually Zach Dockery that picks up the penalty on that. We saw one throw it, and then a little bit after saw a second throw it, and then the third one thought, I want to get in on this game. So he tosses his flag.
That's right, peer pressure. Dockery, the tight end for Sugar-Salem, called for the hold there. So 10 yards from the spot of the foul makes it 1st and 19 now for Sugar-Salem. Ball back at the 45-yard line of MarshValley.
Yeah, holding penalties are costly. We talk about penalties and turnovers. Those are destroyers.
1st and 19, handoff left side. Ryan Harris gets the call again, trying to get to the 40. Will be brought down at the 41-yard line. That was a great tackle by Bradley Belknap for MarshValley.
Yeah, and Bradley plays a lot bigger than what his physical size is. Bradley went up there and took him head on. And Bradley, has given up quite a bit of weight in that matchup. Bradley is such a good ball player. That was a good matchup on that tackle right there. And then Bradley Belknap, in true sportsmanship fashion, turns around and helps Ryan up after the play.
3:50 to play, first quarter, 2nd and 15 for Sugar from the 41 of MarshValley. Play action. Neal going to float it in the flat. It is caught one-handed, but now they're going to say it's a takeaway. A fumble and a recovery for MarshValley at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays that if we're at the college or NFL level, you do a replay on it. That's a replay, or a review, and you try to find out, did he actually ever have it or not? I think, based upon what I could see, that was the correct call out on the field.
They threw it in the flat to the tight end, Dockery. Michael Belknap popped him. The ball came loose, and Belknap recovered. So with 3:42 to play in the first quarter, 0-0 ball game, but MarshValley gets the takeaway. We'll see if they can take advantage. 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line.
Well, and after giving up a couple larger runs on that possession, ultimately a great defensive possession for MarshValley.
Roche out of a pistol, 2 receivers either side. Will drop back to pass over the middle, wide open. Caught at the 45 of Sugar. And up to the Diggers' 41-yard line. On the reception, Bryson Belknap, the senior.
Yeah. Bryson, he was brought down by Caden Summers, who actually caught the pass and fumbled it on the last play for Sugar on the previous play. And that middle was absolutely wide open for MarshValley.
That's a gain of 18 and a first down for the Eagles. 3:15 to play opening quarter, no score. Roche under center, split backs behind him. And a wing back to the right side of the formation as well. They will give on an end-around play to Peyton Howe. It's snuffed out. Peyton Howe, meet Cooper Beauticofer.
Yeah, Cooper Beauticofer came up there. And again, that's another one of those plays that trying to go to the edge, that is where Sugar does have some strengths. And so why do teams keep going to the edge? Well, you do it because you got to keep the defense honest as well. And it might open up some other areas for you.
Peyton Howe was the wing back on the right side of the formation the time that he came around on a little end-around play. And tried to get outside, but the hole closed. So it's 2nd and 13 for MarshValley from the 44-yard line of the Diggers. 2.5 to play first quarter. Pistol formation, 2 receivers either side. Roche Back to pass, screen pass, caught on the near side. Peyton Howe made a man miss. The 40, the 35, and tiptoes out of bounds at the 28-yard line. That's a first down.
Peyton Howe did such an excellent job. Jonas Schulteis defensively had to look at him, and Peyton just caught it and then off-stepped that other direction on the spin, and Schulteis was in chase mode and had to rely on his teammates to bring him in.
And on the screen pass, if you can make that first guy miss, typically a lot of room to run. That was a gain of 16.
Yep. It's especially tough to stop that on single coverage. Just tough.
It is. 1st and 10 for MarshValley. I formation this time from the Sugar 28. Handoff to Michael Belknap, left side, blown up. And it looked like Carson Harris, guy in there.
Yeah, Carson and Wyatt Harris, two of the smaller guys on the field. First one in there, and then coming in a little bit late for the pushback, and it being number 55, Jarek Rammel.
So only a yard for Michael Belknap. It'll be 2nd and 9 for MarshValley. Ball at the Sugar-Salem 27-yard line. 2 minutes and counting here in a scoreless opening quarter. MarshValley, when these teams met in the regular season on their opening drive, drove it 92 yards for a touchdown. They didn't score again until like late in third or early fourth.
Yeah.
So if MarshValley can get off to a good start here, that would really benefit Coach Armstrong and the Eagles. 2nd and 9, toss play left side. Michael Belknap trying to get to the edge, and we'll get right back to the line of scrimmage. That's it.
Wyatt Harris again, first and out there, ends up with an ankle tackle, which at his size is really what you've got to look to do. It's tough to take a guy on above the waist, and especially shoulder high at that. But I'll tell you what, if you're Sugar, what you got to look for here is you got to look for Peyton Howe again. Peyton's one of those guys that if he gets left in single coverage out there, even if he's your check down option, I think as a quarterback you make note of that as your check down. It might turn him into your primary option, and he is on single coverage right now. Well, now he's not because you have a safety coming out.
2 catches, 35 yards so far tonight for Peyton Howe. 3rd and 10. Back to pass Roche, plenty of time. Now chased out of the pocket right side. We'll just take off and run, and we'll only pick up a yard or 2, and that's it. That's what we call a coverage sack. It wasn't really a sack, but it's 4th down.
Yeah, and that was Carson Harris getting out that time. But we're calling a lot of Harrises tonight. Once again, Carson and Ryan are brothers, a senior and a sophomore. Wyatt Harris, not one of the brothers in that group. A lot of Harrises. Yeah, actually, in both these communities, there's quite a few Harrises around, and fairly common name, but now you bring up an important 4th down, and this is, like we talked about before, it's typically go for it range. In most school sizes, in fact, even at college, this is kind of that no man's land.
Yeah.
Usually go for it range or long field goal if you got a good kicker.
It's not quite the Hatfields and McCoys, but it's the Harrises and the Belknaps.
That's right.
Like, yeah.
That's right.
4th and 11 from the 29. Roche on the run, firing. It is caught at the first down marker on the far side.
That's Belknap. I believe that's Michael Belknap.
That is Michael Belknap making the reception for the first down. They needed 11. He got 13.
What a fantastic catch. And you know what? The thing that made that so special as well was the pass was so great, from Roche. The defense was good. The defense was there, and he still threaded that needle and got it in.
Yeah, threw it on a dime as he was rolling out across his body, the opposite direction for Hunter Roche.
Yeah, in fact, last time he threw in that direction, it was that short one that skipped on the ground. This one dead on.
1st and 10 for MarshValley. Ball at the Sugar-Salem 17-yard line. 10 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Play action. Roche throwing low, bobbled and incomplete around the 7-yard line.
Quickly there on the defense for the Diggers, Jace Saunders, another one of the seniors on that team, another one of those multi-sport athletes as well.
Bryson Belknap, the intended receiver, that time makes it 2nd and 10. Ball at the Sugar 17 with just 6 seconds to play in the first quarter.
And just a little bit low, on that pass again. Kind of the same scenario they did in their previous possession where, you get another foot high on that. The angle's fine. Get another foot higher on that, and that's probably a catch.
So MarshValley, following the fumble recovery by Michael Belknap, has put together a nice drive. It's 2nd and 10, I formation. Roche under center, back to pass, throwing a fade up, and it is caught at the 1-yard line. Down at the 1, they'll say. Alex Vaughn with the reception on the right side.
And boy, I'll tell you, again, if there was instant replay, MarshValley might have a little beef on that because he came on top of the player, never touched the ground, and actually rolled into the end zone from off top of the player. Of course, we saw one of the great college runs this last weekend like that as well.
Yes, so it will be 1st and goal at the 1 for MarshValley when we begin the second quarter of play. But through 1, zeros up on the scoreboard. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Grand Peaks Medical. They provide high quality and affordable medical care for the entire family. Their healthcare providers and staff are highly trained and experienced in all areas of primary medicine. Their team is committed to establishing a personal relationship with each patient in a welcoming, attentive, and compassionate manner. Grand Peaks Medical, Dental, Behavioral Health, and Pharmacy in Rexburg and St. Anthony would like to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck at state. Tonight's game also brought to you by ProPete Fertilizer, an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. ProPete can help reduce and replace organic matter back into the soil. Peat-bound nutrients released when plants need them. Carbon 90 Plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss, encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. ProPete is a great product for turf and ornamental applications. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. ProPete wants to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck in the tournament. And Upper Valley Orthopedics, the Upper Snake River Valley's renowned state-of-the-art orthopedic and sports medicine clinic. Doctors Michael Larson, Kevin Lee, and Travis Torngrid are board-certified orthopedic surgeons treating all conditions of the shoulder, elbow, hand and wrist, hip, knee, foot, ankle, and sports-related injuries. Call for an appointment 208-356-9550 or make a request online at uppervalleyortho.com. Upper Valley Orthopedics in Rexburg, a proud supporter of Sugar-Salem Athletics.
Great catch down there by Vaughn to end the quarter. Vaughn has only been targeted 8 times on the season and only has 5 receptions for 107 yards. That's quite a few yards for 5 receptions, but a great one there.
First and goal from the 1 to start the second quarter, and it starts with a Hunter Roche touchdown for MarshValley.
Yeah, Roche on the keeper, and what a great methodic offensive possession for MarshValley. They went down and they kept to all the things that worked for them earlier on, but just executed at a different level.
So Roche with the 1-yard touchdown run came off of the Michael Belknap fumble recovery right at midfield. And now they'll line up for the point after try here with 11:56 to play before halftime. It will be Bradley Belknap for the PAT, and that one missed wide left.
No good. Yeah, those are the things you have to have. That's like a free throw in basketball. You got to make the kind of the freebies. Obviously in football it's a different setting because obviously there is a defense, but but those are the ones you have to hit because those can come back to haunt you later on.
Certainly. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Grand Peaks Dental. They offer attentive, personalized, and affordable dental care for the entire family. They're happy to see patients of all ages for your dental care. Grand Peaks Dental Clinics provide a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. They provide treatments that ensure you the best possible experience for all of your dental needs. Visit their Rexburg or St. Anthony office today to meet the dental team. Everyone at Grand Peaks Medical, Dental, Behavioral Health, and Pharmacy would like to wish the boys good luck tonight. Also, Taylor Chevrolet, proud to support Sugar-Salem Athletics. Taylor Chevrolet has been serving the Upper Valley for over 90 years with excellent service and a stellar sales team. Taylor Chevrolet is the home of oil changes for life. That's right. Buy any new or used vehicle and never worry about your oil again. Taylor Chevrolet is your Southeast Idaho auto leader with a wide selection of Chevrolet, Buick, and Cadillac models. Come in today and get the vehicle you want with oil changes for life. Stop by their Rexburg location or visit their website at www.taylorchev.com.
And, coming back now, if you are Sugar-Salem, I think the thing that you've got to do here is you've got to look and say, listen, our last possession worked good. The only thing that hurt us moving forward was that penalty that moved us back 10 yards. Other than that, obviously the interception, the fumble recovery, but the plays were working correctly.
Short kick taken at the 5-yard line. Nice return to the outside on the near side, the 30, the 35. That's Caden Summers with a nice return just shy of the 40-yard line.
Caden Summers, a player they affectionately call Sugar.
Boy, if you're called Sugar at Sugar, you really must be top dog.
I guess so.
All right, well, you mentioned it. We flipped the field now. Sugar-Salem, 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line, now working left to right in this second quarter. And on that opening drive, they were able to run the ball pretty effectively. I mean, you look at Carson Harris, 2 carries for over 50 yards.
Yeah, well, things were going good for them, and all of a sudden they had the holding penalty, brought them back, 10 yards on that, and from there is where the series started to turn.
Diggers trailing 6-0, 11:49 to play, second quarter. They'll start with the first down, handoff to Carson Harris, and MarshValley ready that time defensively. It looked like the first guy in there was Benson Hatch.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, and for Harris, maybe a half yard at the most on that. I think you still call it essentially a 2nd and 10.
So, actually, Looked like 74 at first. I think it was 54. Easton Branson. He's a senior defensive lineman. Again, as our eyes adjust to these MarshValley uniforms, they look good, but it's tough to see the numbers at first. Only a yard for Carson Harris on that carry. Makes it 2nd and 9 from their own 39-yard line. Neal back to pass. Has time. Quick out. Dropped on the near sideline. Intended receiver, Cooper Porter.
Yeah, and a really kind of a slow pass. It took a long time for that pass to get there. If you get a tighter receiver that jumps that route, that's a potential pick six.
Yeah, he was wide open. There wasn't anybody within at least 2 yards of him, but incomplete pass. That was the first attempted pass of the night for Danny Neal, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the second attempt here on 3rd and 9.
Well, actually, the first one was the one, the reception, then the fumble recovery.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
On that. But, yeah, that's only the second one.
That's right. That was a 2-yard connection before the fumble. 3rd and 9. Hit as he throws and dropped again, trying to go over the middle that time to Jonas Schulteis, and 4th down.
And, had Schulteis have caught that, Schulteis had a lane to be able to go up, but it was great pressure early by MarshValley. And anytime a team drops back in the passing, anytime you can hurry up that quarterback and make them make split-second decisions rather than calculated decisions, favor goes to the defense.
Schulteis, when these teams met in the regular season, had 7 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown. Nothing tonight so far. Good punt here from Sugar. Retreating back to the 18-yard line as Peyton Howe on the return gets a block. The 25, the 30 up the far sideline. Spins out of a tackle and stretches to the 33-yard line.
Well, that's what we've come to expect out of Peyton Howe. He gives you everything, every play. He's not a guy that takes plays off. And all you have to do is not only just watch him here, but watch him in basketball as well. Never takes a play off offensively, never takes a play off defensively. And we see that work ethic happen right here.
1st and 10 for MarshValley from their own 38-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you by Crapo Trucking, a locally owned and operated heavy haul trucking company situated right in St. Anthony. Their office is located at 1908 East 500 North. You can also give them a call at 208-624-3293. Being part of the community is important for Crapo Trucking, and they're proud to support all of the local schools and student athletes. The crew at Crapo Trucking want to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck tonight. 1st and 10, MarshValley from their own 33. Play action, Roche in trouble, throws off his back foot, slings it out of bounds, 2nd down.
Yeah, that's what Boyd Sorensen can do for you if you're Sugar. Get into the backfield. We just got done talking about anytime you can rush a quarterback and make them make a split-second decision as opposed to a calculated decision, good things happen for the defense, and that's what happened there. And, smart play by Belknap. Don't take that sack. Just toss it out of bounds.
Yes, he was feeling the heat, just got it away at the last moment off the back foot. And again, that's going to be a key, is if this Sugar-Salem pass rush can rattle Roche a little bit back there tonight. For the most part, though, he's looked pretty unflappable back there so far.
He's been very good, and that's considering he's got a heavily wrapped right ankle on that. The only legitimate run we've seen from him was the touchdown run.
High formation on 2nd and 10. Handoff left side, a juke move across the 35 up to the 36. So modest gain there for Michael Belknap.
Michael Sorensen in on that again early. Also Caden Summers coming up and getting in on that tackle too. And now really what I think is an extremely important 3rd down for both these teams. For MarshValley, you're looking to keep momentum going. Let's push off of what happened, play off of what happened in our last possession, scoring a touchdown. And if you're Sugar, you're looking saying, hey guys, we can't afford to give that up. We can't afford to have all momentum going one way.
3rd and 7 for MarshValley from their own 36. 10 minutes to play before halftime. Eagles leading 6-0. Play action fake. Roche again, feeling the heat. Flushed out on the right side. Will just take off and run out of bounds. 2 diggers that time applying the heat. Court Summers and Ryken Clay.
Yeah, Ryken Clay got out there, and really Roche would have had probably another 5 or 6 yards he could have ran on that if Ryken Clay would have stayed on the offensive man coming out to that side. But instead he went off and he went on to Roche.
And that scramble lost 9 yards as it's now 4th and 15 for MarshValley, and they'll punt it away. So a very quick 3 and out for the Eagles. And depending on what kind of punt we see here, Sugar-Salem should get pretty decent field position.
Well, and it's obvious what the adjustments were made by Sugar in between those series when it comes to we've got to get more pressure in the backfield and make him make quicker decisions rather than giving him those, 20-yard passes in that middle. And that kind of became the difference. And really when it comes to a lot of these teams, as you look at it, Brandon, most coaches are pretty decent halftime adjusters. But really, if you want to sustain winning inside a program, you've got to be able to adjust from series to series, and then the top ones are people who can adjust from play to play.
Right. Well, for the second punt in a row, MarshValley gets off a beautiful punt.
Yeah.
This time it was a line drive kick that took another MarshValley bounce, rolled all the way inside the 25-yard line to the 22, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem with 9:42 to go before halftime.
Well, and on punts this year, it's Bradley Belknap doing the punting, and 36.2 yards is all he's been averaging on that, so he's done very well.
Neal completes the pass across the 35 on the near sideline to Cooper Porter. That's enough to move the sticks, and a first down, a gain of 21.
You know, you mentioned about kickers love to be inside a dome. That's true, and Belknap's proved it today with those punts that he's got. He's got him out almost double the distance of what he averages throughout the season.
Yes. How about Cooper Porter making up for the drop on the last possession, hauling in the 21-yard pass there for Sugar-Salem, 1st and 10 for the Diggers from their own 38-yard line. It is an option play. Neal somehow gets out of it, but then is brought down by a couple of MarshValley Eagles.
Yeah, and he was lucky to pick up any yardage on that because MarshValley sniffed that out good. What MarshValley did was they blew up the offensive line on that. Their defense blew up through the offensive line and really gave nowhere for Neal to go. You know, he was trying to kind of scrape the backside of his offensive line, but they got pushed right back into him.
So Neal only gets a yard. It's 2nd and 9 for Sugar-Salem. Ball at their own 39-yard line. 8:40 to play before halftime. Diggers trailing 6-0.
And Diggers have yet to be in scoring position today as well.
Tight end wing back to the left side. 2 receivers to the right. Neal going to the right side looking for Cooper Porter again. Overshot him out of bounds. 3rd down. And good tight coverage that time in the secondary as well. That was Michael Belknap in coverage for MarshValley.
Michael Belknap, very quick player. It's tough to outrun him. You know, what you got to try to do is outroute him. You know, get him on a cutback or things like that, you know, where they might lose a step. Because it is very tough to outrun him.
He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year for that MarshValley team. And if you talk to their fans, they say, well, he was even better on defense.
Yeah.
3rd and 9. Neal rolling out right side, hit as he throws, and it is caught though at the 45-yard line, and then the ball came out at the very end, and now they're going to say it's an incomplete pass after all of that. It was caught at the 45-yard line by Tanner Hawks. Hawks took it all the way to the 35-yard line where it dropped, and they say incomplete pass.
It looked to me like he caught it and then was like sticking the ball out and was holding it out. It was kind of an odd look.
I thought that was a live ball still.
I thought it was too.
But Sugar-Salem gets a break there. It's an incomplete pass ultimately. And again, Neal was hit as he threw that ball as well, so a nice job to still catch it. 4th down, Sugar will punt. Howe catches it on the run at the 25, breaks outside of the 30, and will return it to the 32-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for MarshValley with 8:06 to go before halftime.
Jarek Rammel finally knocking him out of bounds, but even with that, Howe was still on his feet when he hit the sideline.
He's one of those guys where you hold your breath when he gets the ball, and you don't exhale until he's been brought down.
That's right.
I mean, he's a dynamic player for sure.
Well, we talk about his all-purpose yards. You know, he leads the team in all-purpose yards. Just one of those players. We talk about him kind of being that renaissance guy, you know, in all the sports that he plays.
So 1st and 10 for MarshValley. Ball right at their 30-yard line, working right to left in this second quarter of action. 8:06 to play here before halftime, and the Eagles enjoying a 6-0 lead. It came on a 1-yard touchdown run by Hunter Roche.
936 all-purpose yards coming into this game for Howe.
Split backs behind Roche on 1st down. Handoff right side, breaking into the secondary, making a man miss across the 40, up to the 44-yard line. A gain of 13 on 1st down.
Yeah, that's the longest play rushing from the line of scrimmage for MarshValley today. And it was a sharp play. It was actually fairly well read by the Diggers, but just unable to hit him early enough. And you break through that initial line, favor goes to the runner, because now you've got that speed behind you and you've got smaller players trying to take you down.
We saw the quick feet of Michael Belknap on that play, gaining 13. 1st and 10 for MarshValley from their own 43-yard line. 7.5 to play before halftime. Howe in motion, left to right. Handoff off left tackle this time, and again, This is Bradley Belknap banging this time, picking up close to 5.
Yeah, about 5 yards on the play for Bradley before the initial hit, too. Yeah, and that's a big thing there, because that's what speaks about your lineman. How long does it take for the defender to put that initial hit on him, get that initial wrap? And when you're about 4 yards into it before the initial wrap, good things happen for you as a runner.
They're getting downhill fast, I've noticed here on this possession. 2nd down and 4 now for MarshValley with 7 minutes to go before halftime. Peyton Howe checks out as the Eagles go with a run-heavy formation. Nobody split out wide, and a little confusion. I think they have to call a timeout here. That is the first timeout for MarshValley in this opening half. 6:50 to play before halftime. Eagles leading 6-0. Tonight's game brought to you by Pocock Trucking, based in Sugar City. They send trucks all over the western United States and Canada. They're full service, and by that, we mean they do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full-service lube bay. They grow potatoes, dairy, quality alfalfa, and more. And they can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City, and their truck shop is located in St. Anthony. To find out more, go to PocockTrucking.com. Pocock proudly supports North Fremont and Sugar-Salem athletics. That'll be the Diggers tonight, North Fremont tomorrow night. And they want to wish everybody good luck in the games this weekend. Also, Fall River Propane serves all of the Upper Valley as well as Island Park with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Their industry-trained and certified service staff offers more than 70 years of experience. Fall River Propane services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves, and they install home comfort systems and on-demand propane water heaters. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call them anytime, 800-632-5726, fallriverpropane.com. Experience the difference. 2nd down and 4. Toss play off the right side. Actually, quarterback keeper for Hunter Roche will pick up 2. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, great blocking to the outside. Finally knocked out of bounds and dragged out by Jonah Schulteis. But he did a great job of following his blockers there. He could have outrun the blockers to the outside, but that would leave him exposed to the defense. And he just followed his blockers and was able to pick it up and make it a very manageable 3rd down.
I'll tell you, Hunter Roche is kind of just taking what the defense has given him at this point. He hasn't really tried to force anything. He's letting the game come to him.
Yeah. Everything that he's done has been very calculated and has fit what they've been calling. He hasn't had to do a lot of ad-lib, so to speak, on the field.
3rd and 3 for MarshValley. Ball right at the 50-yard line. 6:42 to play before halftime. Everybody bunched in tight. Roche will give on an inside counter.
There's going to be a false start.
But before the play can get started, it's stopped dead in its tracks. And now you're talking about, instead of 3rd and 3, 3rd and 8. A little tougher to pick up.
Yeah, you could see that. It looked like that might have been the right guard on that play. Of course, in high school game, they don't call out the player's number.
Yeah.
So you never know. And of course, a lot of that is just logistical, because the officials, not all fields have access for them to be able to say it over the loudspeaker and stuff like that. Where in college you do. I don't know if you remember this, a number of years back. College had gone away from doing the numbers for a while, and then coaches are like, "Hey, we're getting a lot of ghost calls out here," because now some of these officials are not being held accountable for who they're calling this on.
Right.
And we can go back and do game film if they call out the number, and at least they're held accountable if they're not doing it right. So.
3rd and 8 for MarshValley from their own 45. Roche rolling out right side on the run, fires, incomplete. Trying to go to Howe along that far sideline, but Jonah Schulteis was right there in the coverage, 4th down.
Jonah Schulteis, the player last year that right at the end of the first half ran back a kickoff for a touchdown for Sugar going into halftime, and that kind of came out in the second half, and it was kind of an all-Sugar second half against a Homedale team that had just really started out shellacking Sugar the first part of the ball game. So Jonah Schulteis, he's got some experience under him as well. He's had older brothers that have gone through the program, and they are very aware, and that play shows it, very aware of where Howe is on the field.
Speaking of Homedale, the winner of this game will get the winner of Homedale and
South
Fremont on Saturday. Here's a rollout punt this time, and I'm telling you, another beautiful punt uncorked by Bradley Belknap. This one will be downed all the way at the 2.
At the 2-yard line.
I'm telling you right now, Lance, the clubhouse leader for IdahoSports.com player of the game is Bradley Belknap with those punts.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
He's doing good outside of the punts. And then you have those punts in there, and he's doing, talk about icing on the cake. And that's pretty good icing.
Yes.
That's on that cake. And if you're Sugar, well, what do you do at this position? I think what you look at is you look and see the success that Carson Harris has had. But you got to rely on your offensive line. Your offensive linemen have to open up those holes as quick as MarshValley's been able to get into the backfield. I think it's a little risky trying to throw a pass over maybe 5 or 6 yards from this position.
Last time Sugar was backed up at their own end zone, Carson Harris ripped off a 43-yard run. We'll see if they can get something similar here. 1st and 10 from the 2. Penalty flags. I think MarshValley may have encroached.
Yeah, it did. That's what one of the officials. Yeah, and that if you're MarshValley, that's what you can't do. Those are those kind of penalties that you were anticipating the count. You went over the line, did it, and unlike the pro game, college game, you can't get back. You know what I'm saying? Once you've gone over, you violated that. And what you do is you start giving breathing room where they didn't have any before, and you didn't make them necessarily earn that breathing room.
Yeah, big difference from the 2 to the 7, because now Sugar isn't lining up in their own end zone on this play.
They've got the 2 in the backfield, but they do have single coverage with Butykofer out here to the right.
They will give to the fullback or the lead back. Taking it close to the 10-yard line is Carson Harris.
We really don't use the term fullback much anymore, do we? You go back to the olden days and really some of the latest guys, even in the NFL, that really take the fullback title were like, Chris Fuamatu-Mafala, when he was with the Steelers and guys like that. And, you go back to the 70s and 80s when I was, a kid and watching Terry Bradshaw win those 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers and stuff. And, boy, fullback was just a huge part of the game.
Frenchie Fuqua was the fullback back
That's
then.
right.
Yeah.
Rocky Blyer, one of the running backs, of course.
2nd and 2, pitch out to the left side and to the 11. They need to get to the 13 to pick up the first down. I don't think he got there.
No, I don't think he did. The extra stretch was nice, and obviously it gives him a manageable 3rd down, maybe even a potential quarterback keeper on this play, but the stretch wasn't quite long enough, and it looks to be probably a foot or so short.
Yeah, Wyatt Harris on that last carry on the toss play makes it 3rd and inches. Last week I was on the call for the Pocatello-Bonneville game, and Bonneville lined up with a fullback, basically a linebacker, and we kind of dubbed him Mike Allstott because he kind of looked just like him. So,
well, it used to be that your running backs lived off the fullbacks because they were the ones that went and would blow up through that line. Now that onus is really put upon the offensive line, period, to open those up. You look at Alvin Kamara and what he does, and Sugar loses some yardage on this play.
3rd and inches. They had to get to the 13 instead. Carson Harris is brought down at the 11. It's 4th down. He lost a yard on that.
Boy, and what do you do here? A punt doesn't necessarily, unless you can really boot it, your benefit isn't necessarily the most tremendous, but it does give you some room. But they're putting Daniel Neal back out there on the field at quarterback. They must feel they can get this. And I think this might be a place you give it to a guy like a Daniel Sorensen,
We'll see if they're just maybe trying to draw Marsh offsides again, right? They already did it once on this drive. Michael Belknap was in on that last stop, and Marsh nearly jumped again. 4th and a long one, and penalty flag comes in now. Delay of game.
What they were doing. But you know what? I think even the delay of game on here is a little bit risky because that backs you up another 5 yards, and you already don't have as much room to punt.
Right. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get maybe they're going to pick up that flag and say timeout. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yep. Okay.
I even say the timeout, particularly with 4:03 left and all your timeouts, that makes much more sense than giving up those 5 yards are valuable yards in a punting situation when you're towards your end zone.
Yeah, when you're at the your own 11-yard line. 4:03 to go before halftime. 6-0 MarshValley. They will be getting the ball back here off of this punt. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Sunglow of Idaho, located right in Sugar City on the fertile Snake River Plain. Sunglow is one of the largest Idaho potato shippers and is a leader in the potato industry, known for their consistent quality. It's easy to offer the best when the world-famous Idaho russet potato is grown right there in their own backyard.
Dang right.
And they aren't bragging when they say Sunglow is potato country. Find out more by going to sunglowIdaho.com. Sunglow, proud to support the Sugar-Salem boys in the game. Go Diggers. Tonight's game also brought to you by Stone Ridge Dental in Sugar City, where Dr. Carpenter provides his patients with the most up-to-date dental treatment, including CEREC same-day crowns, implants, and more. With their kind staff, family-friendly setting, and relaxed atmosphere, you and the whole family, including the kids, will feel comfortable throughout your visit. Stone Ridge Dental offers convenient hours to accommodate your busy schedule. Stone Ridge Dental in Sugar City, 208-656-2000, or check them out at stoneridgesmile.com. Here is the punt. This kind of came off the foot sideways. We'll take a bounce at the 50. We'll roll to the 45, inside the 40, inside the 35, and finally down at the 34-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for MarshValley. So all things considered, not a bad punt.
Well, punts have been a significant storyline in this game,
yes.
And that one was another one with them. We've seen it from MarshValley. Now we see one from Sugar. The previous punts by Sugar were able to be returned by Peyton Howe. Made it awfully tough, on the Sugar defense with that. But I'll tell you, this punt from deep in the end zone all the way down to the 33-yard line on the opposite side of the field was punts have definitely played a significant role in this ball game.
This is my kind of game, Lance. I love good defense, and both defenses have really brought it tonight so far. A 6-0 MarshValley lead with 3:50 to play before halftime. 1st and 10 for the Eagles from their own 33. Everybody bunched in tight. Here's an inside counter play that ends up going nowhere because Ryan Harris was there to stop it. And on the carry that time for MarshValley was Alex Vaughn for the first time tonight. So Vaughn, I'm trying to see what kind of yardage he picked up, but our chain gang over there, they dropped the marker, so it looks like a yard for Vaughn. 2nd down and 9 for MarshValley now from their own 34 with 3:15 to play before halftime. And again, everybody bunched in tight. Roche, quick hitter to the fullback. This is Bradley Belknap taking it across the 35 to the 36 for a gain of 2, 3rd and long.
Boyd Sorensen and Wyatt Harris the first in on that once again. Those are two names that you tend up calling a lot defensively, particularly as teams run the ball against a Sugar defense.
I'll tell you, MarshValley has kind of gotten away from the passing game a little bit. They've been content to just try and run the ball, and, they've attempted passes on the last couple of 3rd downs, but it's been 3rd and long, and Roche has kind of been forced to basically throw it out of bounds or take a loss.
Well, a lot of it has been they were kind of forced to change a little bit because of the defensive change, where now they're going with the 3 linemen front before, and now, because of the passing situation, they decided to come in with 4, and they blitzed 2 different times as well with that. That ends up making a difference and kind of pushing you out of that. And Sugar calling this time. It's actually MarshValley calling the timeout. I thought Sugar would to try to preserve another possession for the first half.
Well, 2:27 to go before halftime. MarshValley obviously thinks that, hey, it's 3rd and 7. We can pick up this first down, and we'll see what kind of play they're able to call here on 3rd down after the timeout. Tonight's game brought to you by Lava Hot Springs, your destination for a relaxing day away from it all. Just 10 minutes from McCammon and I-15. They're open daily from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and they're open until 11 on Fridays and Saturdays. And they're happily welcoming visitors to sit and enjoy their world-famous hot pools. The all-natural geothermal hot springs are always a warm 102 to 112 degrees. Their indoor aquatic center is now open for the fall season on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and they offer kiddie splash time on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. Lava Hot Springs is taking extra precautions to ensure your safety at this time and asks patrons to be respectful of others as you come and soak all your worries away. Check out lavahotSprings.com for more information.
Yeah, so Brandon, be respectful to others. No really tight European swimsuits when you go down there. Do you think that's what they're talking about?
Well, yeah, social distancing and all that.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
When it's not specified, though, you got to mention all the fun things.
Absolutely.
And I saw you eyeballing that kiddie pool time that they have.
3rd and 7, deep shot, double coverage, simultaneous possession. They'll say MarshValley came down with the catch inside the 25, down to the 23.
Anytime there's simultaneous possession, it goes to the offensive man. What a fantastic catch.
That was Peyton Howe who rolled that in as he and Caden Summers both went for the ball. Sugar fans, you can hear him booing a little bit, but I agree. Peyton Howe had the possession, went to the ground with it, and what a huge play for MarshValley on 3rd and 7. You think that's what they called in the timeout? Hey, we're just going to throw up a bomb to Peyton Howe, and Peyton, you catch it.
Well, obviously, whatever it was worth it.
Yes.
Whatever they decided, it was worth it.
1:50 and counting before halftime. 1st and 10 for MarshValley from the Sugar-Salem 23-yard line. Inside counterplay, Michael Belknap trying to dance his way to the 20, and he will be brought down there.
Yeah, number 55, Jarek Rammel on the play. And I think if you're MarshValley, knowing that, having in the back of your mind that Sugar gets the ball to start half number 2, you'd love to put another score up here on the board, to kind of stretch that out a little bit. If Sugar does get that ball to start half number 2.
That pass completion went for 41 yards to Peyton Howe. And it's now 2nd down and 7 for MarshValley at the 20. High snap, Roche has it, plenty of time, throw into the end zone, double coverage. Actually triple coverage on the far side, it's incomplete. They were trying to go to Peyton Howe, but 3 diggers in there. The 2 closest were Jonah Schulteis and Cooper Porter.
Yeah, Cooper Porter had the inside on that, and Jonah had the outside on that. And there was just really nowhere, even threading the needle, there was really nowhere that ball could sneak in there and get to Peyton Howe.
And we talked about, you mentioned the heavily taped ankle of Roche at quarterback. Yeah. He had all day to throw, and I think in a different situation, he maybe takes off and runs with that because, there just was nobody open, and he tried to force it anyways.
Well, and these are teams that tend to match up, even when there's size differences. There tends to be some challenges. Sugar 2 seasons ago in their 3rd of the 3 championships last season.
3rd and 7, trying to go again to Howe on the far side, incomplete. 4th down.
But remember last year's game, which was the homecoming game for Sugar, that was a 1-point game in overtime. Single-digit game.
Yes.
7-6.
These two have played a lot of tight games over the years.
They have, and so these are teams that you got to know the strengths of the other team, but you got to know their weaknesses. You got to know where you can be effective.
And despite all the tight games, Sugar-Salem has won 12 in a row against MarshValley heading into tonight's contest. The last time MarshValley won was back in 2011. So this will be a 37-yard field goal straight on middle of the field for Bradley Belknap. It is on the way, and he got it.
He got it right in. It looked like from our angle like it might be far right.
Yes. He snuck it through, a 37-yard field goal for Bradley Belknap, and it's 9-0 MarshValley.
And Belknap has had a fantastic night kicking the ball between punts and now this kick. He's done a great job. Sugar player down on the field. Not quite sure it is. It's Jonah Schulteis. His father down there with him. His father's actually a physical therapist and is one of them that helps out on the teams. Was a physical therapist for a number of years in Cedar City, Utah, before moving the family up here as well.
So 51 seconds to go before halftime, 9-0 MarshValley. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Bishard Realty, the Bishard team at Silver Creek Realty Group, where helping families in their community with all your real estate needs is their first priority. They're grateful to be able to serve all of Southeast Idaho to help you find your next home. The Bishard Realty team wants to wish the MarshValley boys good luck in tonight's game. All right, here we go, Lance. 51 seconds to go before halftime. Sugar-Salem has 2 timeouts to work with. If they can get a good return here, might be able to work with something. They will also get the ball to start the second half.
Well, and the MarshValley contingent who is here is very loud, very excited, very motivated, and you've got to figure that goes over into the team as well. They're playing kind of with that extra step. Doing a good job.
MarshValley leading 9-0. Bradley Belknap will kick off. It's going to be a line drive kick. Will be played on a hop at the 22-yard line by Jace Saunders. And Saunders got pushed all the way back to the 21. So again, keep it away from the 2 men deep. Don't want to give Sugar a chance to get a return. And not only that, it took 6 seconds off the clock. We're down to 46 seconds to play.
Yeah, you start gapping a little bit here, playing a little bit of bend, don't break. Don't give up the big play. You'll live with stuff underneath. Sugar does still have 2 timeouts left in this half as well.
So we'll see if Coach Richens wants to try and get something here, or maybe say, you know what, we'll just regroup at halftime. We get the ball to start the third quarter. Try and knock into this 9-point deficit then. 1st and 10, Neal back to pass, throwing a quick route, little slant, caught at the 30, the 35, and up to the 40-yard line. Looked like it was Butikofer for the first down.
Last year, he had a brilliant catch in the state championship game that bounced off the helmet of the defender, went straight up in the air. He was laying on his back, and it came right down in his arms, going about 20 feet up in the air. It was during kind of that comeback time for Sugar against Homedale.
Hurry up offense with 30 seconds to play before halftime. Trying another slant route on the left side, this time off the hands of Baden Shawcroft. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Braden, they've usually targeted him a couple more times in this game. This is the first time I remember him targeting Shawcroft during this first half.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that was the first time they've thrown his way tonight. 2nd and 10 for Sugar from their own 40-yard line. 29 seconds to play before halftime. Trailing 9-0. Still have 2 timeouts to work with. 4 wide here for the Diggers. 2 to either side. Neal back to pass. MarshValley rushes 3. Going to take a deep shot right side. All sorts of bumping and no flag thrown. Double coverage. They were trying to go to Butikofer again. It's now 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and I think Butikofer, in that scenario, he was looking for the pass interference. It looked to me like just the legs got tangled up while they were running, and you're not going to get the PI call on that. I think for Sugar, what you're hoping to do here is, obviously if you can break one like that and get in the end zone, that's one thing. But other than that, I think they're just trying to get in some reasonable field goal range for Contreras to go and do that. He's got a 40-yarder on the year, and leg-wise could easily kick a 50-plus.
And nice coverage on that last play by MarshValley's Corbridge Bastion. Timeout taken by MarshValley here with 23 seconds to go before halftime. Now, head coach Doug Armstrong wants to make sure that his defense is ready for anything and knows their assignments. But to play devil's advocate, this also gives Sugar-Salem a chance to draw up potentially a really good play, right?
I've always felt that has benefited the offense more than it benefits the defense. That's always been my personal feeling. I don't have a statistic to back that. I'm sure there's one out there, but I have just always felt that. There's a few things that I feel strongly about. That's one of them that I feel strongly about. I have a couple rule ones that I feel strongly about too. One is in basketball, the alternating jump ball rule. That always bothers me because I think it's so much of a better defensive play than it is an offensive play. So I hate seeing the defense punished potentially every other time, And but that's a whole different argument for a different sport, different day. But I have a few strong feelings.
Well, a lot of these guys will be on the basketball court in a month or so.
That's right.
You can revisit then. 3rd and 10 from the 40. Neal going to throw. It's caught across the 50 at the MarshValley 48-yard line. Butikofer on an out route on the far side. A gain of 12 and a first down. Andy stopped the clock with 19 seconds to play.
I think if you get up to about the 35-yard line, that you're in a fairly reasonable range for Contreras to kick a field goal. And I think they might be trying to do that because they're going heavy to the sideline right now. I think, if you're a Sugar, I think you go to the sideline again. If you feel you're not going to be in that field goal range, then you go for one shot at the end zone,
And they still have 2 timeouts to work with as well. Low snap. Neal rolling out left side. This time will sling it on the far sideline. Caught at the 40-yard line. And on the far side with the reception, looked like it was...
That was Schulteis with the reception.
Schulteis. Bastion making the stop. That's a gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
Pardon me, that was Ty Hurlinger.
Yeah, Ty Hurlinger.
On the reception there, my bad.
No, that's okay.
Ty was injured for most of the season. Had a brace on for most of it, and about 2 games left in the regular season, made his first appearance.
I was going to say, he's not even on my roster because I'm looking at an older one from earlier in the season. 10 seconds to go before halftime. Another pass complete, this time on the near sideline at the 30. That's Butikofer. He gets out of bounds. That is a gain of 11 and a first down.
I think if you're Sugar here, you're just going to try to run it up, see if you can get any yards up the middle, call a timeout. They're obviously getting a timeout here, but then you're going to have one more remaining. You put it up the middle, you call a timeout, see if you can just get in a little bit better field goal position, and then put Contreras on.
Yeah, timeout taken here by the Diggers with 7 seconds to play before halftime, trailing 9-0. And as you mentioned, Lance, they'll have 1 timeout to work with here. And generally, if you're trying to set up Contreras for a kick, you just want to get the ball set where he's comfortable kicking from. Earlier this year in the 5A ranks, Meridian played Mountain View and lost 14-13. It came down to a kick at the end by Meridian, and they set it up on the wrong hash.
Yeah.
The kicker was left-footed, and they set it up on the right hash, or the left hash, and he pushed it wide. I only bring that up because that's a rematch coming up tomorrow night on IdahoSports.com, Meridian Mountain View.
Yeah, it doesn't play as near as big of a role in the NFL game because your hash marks are so much closer together.
Right.
Even though it does play a role, it doesn't play as big a role as it does in college or the high school ranks.
So Meridian Mountain View on our broadcast schedule, along with several others. If you want to see all the games we're covering tomorrow and Saturday, just click on the Game Streams tab at IdahoSports.com.
Coach Richens for Sugar standing right down by the official, possibly to call a timeout.
It is 1st and 10 for the Diggers with 7 seconds to play before halftime. Play clock winding down here. Neal will have to snap it quickly.
The count's on.
4 wide, 2 to either side. Low snap again. Neal taking a shot. It is incomplete at the 15-yard line. Just 2 seconds remain now before halftime. Intended receiver that time, Cooper Porter.
And it looks like I do not see Contreras heading onto the field, so it looks like they're going to try to take a shot with 2 seconds left to get in the end zone. I'm really surprised because of the leg that Contreras has. This is a reasonable distance from him, so he is going to use his final timeout.
I'll say, Lance, coming out of that last play, after a timeout, Sugar kind of looked discombobulated a little bit.
Yeah.
They weren't sure the play clock was on, right?
Well, almost was a delay of game.
And Neal took the snap. It was low, and I think he he threw it quickly to try and preserve what time was left on the clock.
Well, and the snaps have been low. The snaps have been very low all game for him. In fact, they've been slow. If you've noticed that too, they're just kind of going through that, just kind of going through the motions, getting it back there. It's not a nice tight snap. I think maybe, that's something, along with other things, obviously, that they're going to need to address at halftime as they go in there. Is that puts you a half step off offensively when it's a bad snap. Sometimes a full step, and a defender can cover a lot of room in 1 step worth of time.
Absolutely. So, Sugar-Salem has used their final timeout. They will bring out Contreras for a 48-yard field goal with 2 seconds to go here before halftime.
Leg-wise, he's got the leg to get it. So it will come down to if he can get it high enough.
48-yard try. That's Ian Hershey territory, the great kicker for Highland, who's used to kicking here at Holt Arena. Here it is, and not close. Wide left.
Wide left. Plenty of distance. But wide left.
So Sugar-Salem, doesn't happen often.
No.
A goose egg at halftime.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're MarshValley, you've got to feel very, very good about what you did in that first half. MarshValley looked sharp. They looked composed during that first half. You mentioned it with Hunter Roche, how he just didn't look discombobulated at all. He just looked very calm, very under control with what he did. Kind of let the game flow a little bit and come to him, and he did the most of it. Sugar's got some things that they've got to address at halftime, and we should look for a good one in the second half.
Boy, it's been a barn burner so far tonight, and at halftime, the MarshValley Eagles on top of the defending 3A state champions from Sugar-Salem, 9-0 in this quarterfinal showdown. Halftime show headed your way right after this break. You're listening to the 2021 Idaho High School Football Postseason on IdahoSports.com.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Idaho, in almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
this message presented by the Idaho High School Activities Association and the Idaho Athletic Administrators Association, reminding you to always practice good sportsmanship.
You've heard it before. There is no I in team, but there is an I in dairy. Dairy foods are a great source of protein, which is vital for helping rebuild and repair muscles after exercise, so your body can be at the top of its game at your next competition. So grab some milk, cheese, or yogurt after you work out, train, or play. Yes, it's true. There is no I in team, but there is an I in win. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. A tranquil lake, a serene sky, an emerald forest, a secret hideout. Thanks for being there just when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. It's the recipe for success in any kind of sport, and dairy can be a key ingredient in every one of those steps. Dairy foods supply your body with high-quality protein to rebuild and repair muscle, carbohydrates to help you refuel, and fluid and electrolytes to help you rehydrate. So your personal recipe for greatness can be perform, win, repeat. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process. It's readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
It is halftime in Holt Arena in Pocatello. Brandon Baney with Lance Taylor here on IdahoSports.com. And at halftime of this 3A quarterfinal matchup, it is the MarshValley Eagles pitching the shutout over Sugar-Salem 9-0. This was a good old-fashioned defensive slobber knocker in the opening half.
Yeah, it very much is, and for a lot of people, they like the offensive game. They like that old WAC-style football where we don't care if you score 60 as long as we score 61 kind of football game. This game is very much not that. For a lot of us guys that watch football week in and week out, it's very impressive to see a good defensive game. I've kind of compared it to people. I said, I love watching mixed martial arts, and I love watching the knockout. But a lot of people watch it for the knockout. What's more impressive to me is when you watch a good grappling battle between two guys on the ground who can't really get the best of the other position-wise to get a submission, things like that. That's the way a good defensive game feels to me. You got people in the trenches, and both these teams made some good adjustments after the initial possessions. Sugar was able to run the ball pretty handily in their first possession, the first couple actually, and then they ended up with that turnover on it, and MarshValley made adjustments to start taking away the run. Then they were only getting like a yard or so on the runs, making them pass the ball more, which was not as successful for Sugar. For Sugar, they gave up that touchdown to MarshValley, and a lot of that came through the passing game, through Peyton Howe, and a lot of passes across the middle as well. Then Sugar made good adjustments, started bringing the blitz more, started getting into that backfield, and kind of shut down that passing game a little bit, other than the one long pass down here to Peyton Howe at the end. And so they forced then MarshValley into a running game. And so both teams made some good adjustments, but both teams still have some things that they've got to change coming into the second half.
Yeah, the chess match between Coach Armstrong for MarshValley and Coach Richens for Sugar-Salem. It's been fun to watch.
It has. And again, these are coaches that know each other very well. They know how each other plays. They know their styles, and it is. We talked about the importance of being an adjuster, and most teams are good halftime adjusters. Most coaches are. But in order to ultimately win on a consistent level, again, you've got to be able to not only adjust at halftime, you've got to be able to adjust between quarters, between series, and the very top ones are guys who can adjust from play to play with their teams. And we've seen that in that opening half of action. You mentioned specifically Carson Harris, his first 2 carries went for 43 and 16 yards. Yeah.
The 3 after that, 1, 3, -1.
That's right. Yeah, and then we really never saw that running game pick back up from a significant level the rest of the half. And it was kind of the same with the pass for MarshValley. They did that pass, they got down, they scored, and with the exception of the one long pass, down towards the end, Sugar had kind of cut that pass off. They got in the backfield and made it so Roche had to get rid of it earlier. Makes it tough to get anything other than maybe a screen pass or a shorter pass off. And so those were made. Sugar didn't make those, though, until after the score. Sugar was unable to score before MarshValley made their adjustments, and it was good. It was a chess match.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Let's take a look at these are the unofficial halftime statistics. Might be a yard or 2 off somewhere because, let's be honest, Lance, when I'm the guy that's doing the math, generally speaking.
And we'll call them Brando stats. These are Brando stats.
I like that, Brando stats. All right, here's the Brando stats of the night. On TNT for their NBA coverage, they have Ernie Johnson, EJ's Nito stat of the night.
That's right. And a shout out to his family, let him know we're thinking about him. Yeah. His son, who was born with, I believe it was cerebral palsy, ended up passing away. Not unexpected by any stretch, but certainly always hard to say goodbye to a child that way. Yeah, it's never easy, even when you see it coming. But first half stats, let's start with MarshValley. They're up 9-0. They scored on the 1-yard touchdown plunge by Hunter Roche. It was set up by the Michael Belknap fumble recovery off of the 2-yard reception by the tight end Doherty, and then the fumble. And that's been it, besides the 37-yard field goal for Bradley Belknap. On the ground, MarshValley only rushed for 22 yards in that opening half, but they threw for 133, so 155 total yards of offense. For Sugar, they're much more balanced. 71 on the ground, 72 through the air, 143 overall. So you look at the total yardage, Sugar's right there, but the turnover was costly. Yeah, turnover was costly, and yet to really get in a significant scoring position. Not in the red zone at all tonight for Sugar-Salem. They've kind of played it between the 30s for the most part, and that's something that they've got to do. I think if you come out with this half, I think some adjustments Sugar's got to make. They've got to address the snaps at halftime. Bad snaps all game long so far, and I think as we talk about that, and you see it all the time, a bad snap gets you a second off. Or a step off, and a defender can cover a lot of room in 1 second, and that takes away from your offensive ability there. I think looking at it too, I thought Sugar, for the most part, with the exception of those runs that Harris had early on, I think they looked lethargic offensively. I just saw that, and maybe that came from the snaps, but it just looked like they just struggled. Their routes didn't seem to be tight from their receivers. The passes seemed to be kind of iffy. Should I throw it? It's like getting in a jump shot in basketball. You get halfway through it and still deciding whether to pass or shoot, Right. That's kind of what it looked like to me. And I think on the other side of it, when you look at MarshValley, come out and don't get ahead of yourself. Meaning, you don't have to make the wholesale changes right now. Yours are more little housekeeping items that you have to do to make sure you tighten things up. But don't make wholesale changes and get ahead of yourself. Continue to do what's working for you until Sugar steps up and proves they can stop that. And if they do, then you make some necessary adjustments from there. And some of the earlier things for them is they've got to watch out because their defensive ends are getting taken out of some of those plays. And I noticed when they weren't able to do that, their when they didn't give up the big runs, because their defensive ends were able to get in as well, get in on those tackles, and weren't able to be taken out. They started out very wide.
Yeah, MarshValley, the team that's calm, cool, and collected, you would have thought that they were the ones that won the regular season matchup with the way they've kind of handled themselves tonight. The individual stats for MarshValley, leading rusher Michael Belknap, 8 carries for 23 yards. Bradley Belknap has 3 carries for 11 yards. Alex Vaughn, 1 carry for 2 yards. Peyton Howe, 1 carry for -3. And how about this stat line? Hunter Roche, 5 carries, -11 yards, but the touchdown.
Yeah,
right.
Touchdown. I think as you look at these teams and of course you always ask this of your players when you go out, we're going to give up some yards. We're going to give up some running yards. We're going to give up some passing yards. Our goal is we got to make them earn anything they get. There's no give-me's out there on the field. And I think for the most part, as you look at both these teams and what they've done in this, they have made the other teams earn what they got. It wasn't easy pickings for those teams. You look at that last pass to Peyton Howe that really put them, for the most part, in their field goal position for Belknap to kick that. That was an earned one. I mean, the 2 defenders tied on him, both came down with possession. That goes to the offensive player. And on the Sugar side of the ball, there's been no open receptions there. They had those couple early runs, but other than that, they've had to earn every single thing they got.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. So you mentioned Roche and Howe. Hunter Roche in the first half, 7 of 14 passing for 133 yards. No touchdowns, but no picks. Peyton Howe, the leading receiver, 3 catches for 76 yards. That's right around 25 yards a catch. After that, it's Michael Belknap, 2 catches for 23 yards. Bryson Belknap has 1 catch for 18 yards, and Alex Vaughn 1 catch for 16 yards.
Of course, the one with Vaughn, again, if that was a replay scenario, that might have been called a touchdown, as he never actually came down to the ground. He rolled on top of the defender. And of course, the way that rule is written, a lot of that depends on how you were, on how he took you down, and stuff. But that could have been reviewable in that scenario. Of course, they ended up scoring,
right.
As the quarter had come to an end there. But nonetheless, you got to look at it.
Yep, and that's, they caught it at the 1. At the very end of the first quarter, it was zeros after the first quarter. First play of the second quarter, that's when Roche scored from a yard out. For Sugar in the first half, Carson Harris, 5 carries for 62 yards. But we talked about, 55 of those 62 yards.
Or 2 plays.
Came on 2 plays. So Wyatt Harris, 2 carries for 4 yards. Ryan Harris, 1 carry for 4 yards. And Neal has 1 carry for 1 yard. Danny Neal passing, 6 of 13, 72 yards. Leading receiver, Cooper Butikofer, 3 catches for 43 yards. Cooper Porter has 1 catch for 19 yards. Ty Hurlinger, 1 catch for 8 yards. And then Doherty, the tight end, 1 catch for 2 yards and the fumble.
Yeah. Well, and, these teams, as we move forward into this half, we know these teams, as good of a defensive game as this has been, we know these teams have better offense in them than what they showed in this first half, at least as far as a whole goes, or as an entirety goes. And so I think as we look at this second half, we're looking and expecting a little more offensively from this group, because a lot of those adjustments that have to be made are going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. Certainly a 9-point lead is not safe by any stretch. That's not safe going into the fourth quarter,
no.
Let alone going, coming into the third. And so, both teams will have to have better offense as a collective.
More consistent offense as well, to be sure, as we're getting ready for the third quarter here. A 9-0 MarshValley lead over Sugar-Salem. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Grand Peaks Behavioral. Mental and behavioral health problems are common. For those times, Grand Peaks Behavioral Health is here to help. Throughout life, we or someone we love will experience some form of a mental health episode or encounter situations that impact daily living. With education, support, and treatment, people can and do recover. With highly qualified providers that specialize in all aspects of mental health, they are here to help. Visit grandpeaks.org to learn more about how Grand Peaks can help you. Grand Peaks Medical, Dental, Behavioral Health, and Pharmacy in Rexburg and St. Anthony would like to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck tonight. Tonight's game also brought to you by Pocock Trucking, based in Sugar City. But just because they're in Sugar City, I mean, that doesn't mean that they're limited to Sugar City.
No, they're all over the place.
Yeah, they send trucks all over the western United States and Canada. Pocock Trucking is full service, and by that, we mean they do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full-service lube bay. They grow potatoes, dairy, quality alfalfa, and more. And they can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City, and their truck shop is located in St. Anthony. To find out more, go to PocockTrucking.com. Pocock proudly supports Sugar-Salem Athletics and wants to wish the Diggers good luck in tonight's contest. MarshValley to kick off to start this third quarter. Bradley Belknap to do the honors. Another line drive squibber fallen on at the 32-yard line by one of the up men. Looks like it was Caden Summers. Actually,
it was number 10, which I believe is Sam Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And he's not even on our roster here. But again, we got a kid sitting next to us here that's one of his best friends. That kid used to spend a lot of time in my home. One time, it was interesting. You mentioned the Pocock Trucking goes up through Canada and stuff. Well, my in-laws are Canadians, and my wife was actually born in Canada, so she's half Canadian, half American. But I taught my kids when they were growing up that it was pronounced Canada, and so whenever we'd go up there, it always took them a little while.
1st and 10 for Sugar from their own 20, working left to right in this third quarter. Danny Neal's pass incomplete around the 45-yard line. Intended receiver Zach Doherty kind of slipped and got tangled up.
Yeah, he did. Corbridge Bastion was on the defensive assignment there, just a sophomore, but the receiver just went down on that play. It was just one of those turf monster plays. And of course, with this turf, you can wear cleats now. The original turf, you had to wear like a modified basketball shoe.
It's like carpet, right?
Yeah, it was like carpet, and it felt like carpet.
Yeah, get the rug burns for sure. 2nd and 10, handoff up the middle. This is Carson Harris across the 35 and down to the 37, a gain of 5.
Yeah, that 5-yard run is the biggest single rush that Carson Harris has had since the first quarter. Those first 2 rushes that were big that he had as MarshValley really shut that down and made it tough for Sugar-Salem to move the ball.
So a 3rd and 5 for the Diggers from their own 37-yard line. 11:30 to play in the third quarter. It's a 9-0 MarshValley lead. Diggers break the huddle, send 3 receivers to the right, single receiver alone to the left. And Neal out of a shotgun here on 3rd and 5. It's an option play left side. Neal didn't get there. He needed 5. He only got 2. As coming up to make the stop for MarshValley, Bradley Belknap was in there, and Michael, the Belknap brothers, Michael and Bradley. And it's 4th and 3 now for Sugar.
Yeah, they're going to... they're sending him back on as they might feel they can get this. I'm not seeing Cooper Porter on the field for the punt. He might be, but I'm not seeing him. No, they're going to go for it.
Wow. So, again, we'll see if they try and draw MarshValley offsides here, or maybe 4th and 3 from their own 39. They think they can get it. This is a big gamble, though. Neal under center, split backs behind him. And again, just barking out signals, trying to get the Eagles to jump.
They're down inside their 5 seconds now.
Yeah, finally they'll call a timeout here, and I'm sure they'll come out and punt.
Of course, last time they did that, they won that battle. They got them to jump off sides, but I hate to see a timeout blown like that for any team. Those timeouts are so valuable. I mean, we saw that come the end of the first half where timeouts were valuable.
Lose the battle, win the war. I mean, I would have saved that timeout for later, but that's why I'm up here and not down there on the sidelines.
Are you saying you've been in a lot of battles or a lot of wars?
Yeah, neither. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Taylor Chevrolet, proud to support Sugar-Salem Athletics. Taylor Chevrolet has been serving the Upper Valley for over 90 years with excellent service and a stellar sales team. Taylor Chevrolet is the home of oil changes for life. That's right. Buy any new or used vehicle and never worry about your oil again. Taylor Chevrolet is your Southeast Idaho auto leader with a wide selection of Chevrolet, Buick, and Cadillac models. Come in today and get the vehicle you want with oil changes for life. Stop by their Rexburg location or visit their website at www.taylorchev.com. And how about this? The Sugar offense back out here on 4th and 3 from their own 39. Neal out of a shotgun, 4 wide, 2 to either side. The blitz, he's hit as he throws. It is caught in stride at the 45 and down to the 40-yard line of MarshValley.
The ground cannot cause the fumble, so it is complete.
That was Cooper Butikofer on the reception. MarshValley brought the house on the blitz. Neal stood tall and delivered.
And got clobbered
yes.
while he was delivered.
All the way to the MarshValley 37-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Diggers. What a call on 4th down. 9:50 to play in the third. Quarterback draw for Neal up the middle across the 35, down to the 33.
We're already seeing more from Daniel Neal in the second half than we saw in the first, as far as the activity with his legs. He's not a big runner. He can run, but he's not one of those runners that's going to destroy a lot of teams with his legs. But he can pick up those 2, 3, 4, 5-yard runs for you when teams are not expecting it.
So a 24-yard pass on 4th and 3 from Neal to Butikofer, followed by a 4-yard run by Neal. Makes it 2nd and 6 for Sugar. Ball at the MarshValley 33-yard line, 9:15 to play in the third. Neal again, here's the blitz. Hit as he throws, throwing it up for Schulteis, and broken up. Peyton Howe in coverage on the near sideline.
Yeah, and because that ball was slightly underthrown, because I did see some Sugar fans yelling for the pass interference. What happened, because that pass was slightly underthrown, what happens now is Howe becomes the inside player and technically becomes the legal receiver on that play. So now it's on the offensive man out there to not offensive pass interfere in that scenario.
And I'll tell you, the last 2 plays, MarshValley has brought the blitz. We're seeing a more aggressive defense.
Well, and what you saw on Sugar that time is they moved Daniel Sorensen to the backfield and let him do that block as it came in order to keep that man out. And it's Sorensen again in the backfield, right side of Daniel Neal.
Personal protector, 3rd down and 6. 3 receivers bunch to the right, single receiver to the left. They go that way on the slant. It is caught across the 25 to the 24 for the 1st down. And again, that's Hurlinger on the reception. Ty Hurlinger with his 2nd grab of the night.
Ty Hurlinger, his father, played college football, played for the old Ricks College before it became BYU Idaho. That was a national powerhouse JUCO program. Of course, it was a huge feeder into the local college programs, particularly BYU. In fact, on BYU's national championship team in 1984, they had about 20 transfers from Ricks that were on that team.
Yeah, it's a bummer they're not around anymore.
It's been hard on me.
1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem. Ball at the MarshValley 24, 8.5 to play in the third quarter. Low snap again. Neal hit as he throws, and it's dropped. Wide open on the far side was Boyd Sorensen. And
he would have walked into the end zone literally with that pass, as they had trips right, but 4 defenders had come out, and it left him alone over on the far side.
So what happened was the 3 receivers were on the left side to start, and they all came in motion, and as MarshValley was adjusting, somebody forgot about Sorensen on that left side, and he was wide open. He would be moonwalking into the end zone at this point.
Yeah, and Daniel Neal got clobbered again on that hit. It was a great pursuit, but of course, the risk you take with a pursuit like that is not having a defender.
Oh, and a penalty flag here.
That's going to be on Sugar. That's a false start.
Yeah.
The center went, nobody else did at the time.
All of a sudden, the ball was snapped, and Danny Neal's going, hey, I didn't want this. Not yet, anyways.
In fact, he was looking over at the coaches, kind of looked back just a little bit. There was the ball.
So, false start penalty against the Diggers. And we've seen them now, Lance, in this second half pretty much get away from the run. They're going 4 wide. They're going trips to one side, a single receiver to the other, trying to get those one-on-one matchups.
Well, and what that does, particularly now that guys are coming off the edges to try to get to your quarterback as well on those blitzes, is that eventually opens up that middle for a single run here and there.
Trips to the right, single receiver to the left again on 2nd and 15 from the 29. Neal rolling out, right side, fires, caught at the 22. Butikofer again, and he's brought down on the play by MarshValley's Bradley Belknap.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 9, but I think with how quickly MarshValley's been able to get into the backfield, and they've done a great job of that, I think having Daniel Neal on the move there is really your best option.
Yeah, MarshValley has been very aggressive, and if Neal can get the ball out quickly, Sugar has an opportunity. But the downside is when you're getting the ball out quickly, you don't have time for those bigger routes to develop. So it's kind of chunk plays, right?
That's right.
3rd down and 9. Ball at the MarshValley 23, 7:40 to play in the third. Neal has time, stands and fires too high over the middle, incomplete.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if he had that pass down where Cooper Porter it was online. If he'd have just had it the right height, that was a potential touchdown, as he had the receiver or had the corner by about probably 2 steps, a step and a half at least.
It was a slant route over the middle to Cooper Porter, and he threw it a little high and behind him. And
and I said the corner was actually a safety that came over and picked him up. That's who he took with him, but it was definitely doable.
So now we'll see a 40-yard field goal try here. Again for Sugar-Salem by Contreras. He missed that 48-yarder just before halftime. Diggers is trying to get on the board here on 4th and 9 with 7:37 to play in the third. Snap, hold, kick is on the way, and
no good.
Wide left.
Again.
So Contreras this time from 40 yards out misses again, wide left. And MarshValley preserves the 9-0 lead with 7:31 to play here in the third quarter of action. And I tell you, next time, I think Sugar goes for it. I think they've seen Contreras is a good kicker, but sometimes it's just not your night.
Yeah, it's not a length. It's not a distance thing. He's got the leg to do it. It's just been an accuracy thing right now. And I think what Sugar was looking to do there was get 3 points up on the board, and you're holding serve on that. If you do that and you're able to get a stop or get a touchdown, you tie this game up. But right now, MarshValley so far come out. Sugar moves the ball, but again, no points.
This is MarshValley's first drive of the second half, working right to left here in this third quarter. They'll start with a handoff off the right side. Michael Belknap crashing forward for a gain of 2.
Yeah, and I think they might end up looking here to Vaughn. I think Vaughn is able to get some steps on the corner when he is out there as a receiver. He just had the 1 catch in the first half. Has not been targeted, a lot this year. As you look at that receiving for their team.
He's a good complementary player. He can run it and receive it.
He had 107 yards on the season on just 5 catches, so he can catch the deep ball or run after, certainly.
I formation on 2nd and 8 from their own 22. Handoff right side again. Look at Belknap pushing a couple of defenders to the 29. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Boy, and the far side line judge is the one that has the call on that, and I think he might have even ripped him off by a yard or so.
And that was, I believe, Bradley Belknap on that last carry for a gain of 7. And it's 3rd down and a very short one here, 3rd and inches basically for MarshValley. Got to get to the 30 to pick up the first down. We're down to 6:15 to play in the third, and the Eagles leading 9-0 here in this 3A quarterfinal matchup. I formation on 3rd and inches. Roche under center gives to the fullback, and he got it.
He's going to get it on forward progression for sure. Ryan Harris, the first in there defensively, pushes him back, but that was a great play call. They got up to the line quickly, got that thing snapped, and pick up a first down.
Yeah, Bradley Belknap gets the yard he needed off right guard, and it's 1st and 10 for MarshValley from their own 31-yard line. 5:50 to play in the third, and I'm telling you, Lance, all of a sudden this game is growing short.
It has, and anytime you find yourself in a hole like this, particularly as the game starts winding down, we're over halfway through the third. There's only been, I think, 1 penalty in the second half, or two penalties in the second half, so it hasn't slowed it down. Changes your game plan a little bit.
1st and 10 from their own 31. Handoff right side. Michael Belknap this time, cutting for a gain of 2. And first guy in there for the Diggers defensively looked like it was Ryken Clay.
Yeah, it was Ryken Clay. By the ankles was Boyd Sorensen. Then Ryken Clay came up and took him chest high down. But again, some of those chip yards, a couple yards here and there give you manageable 3rd down plays.
2nd down and 8 for MarshValley from their own 33. 5:05 to play in the third, leading 9-0. Opening drive of this second half. Sugar took a lot of time off the clock to work it down for a 40-yard field goal try by Contreras that missed wide left. They will pitch it on an option play to the right side this time. Michael Belknap will get right back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. Nice job by Sugar-Salem to string it out.
Yeah, and one of the things we've consistently seen tonight is the one place that MarshValley has struggled offensively is when they've tried to hit the edges. Sugar is a very good defensive team on the edges, whether it's been through a sweep, whether it's been through a direct run or a pass out. And so you've got to look at that. And again, I think the attempt there is to try to keep the defense honest. You'd love to pick up yards, but you keep them honest, it might open other things for you. And right now, because they're on the left hash mark, they've got a wide right side of the field.
So loss of a yard on that carry by Belknap makes it 3rd and 9. MarshValley has not attempted a pass yet in this second half, but maybe here on 3rd and 9. 2 receivers either side. Roche back to pass. Slant route caught. Peyton Howe, but he's brought down shy of the 40. It'll be 4th down. That was a great open field tackle by Cooper Porter.
Yeah, and it's going to be 4th down at about 2.5 yards. And I think if you're MarshValley, you look at this, you say, listen, Sugar has been unable to get into the end zone. If we go for it here, we're giving them the best field position of the game. And do we want to take that risk, or do we want to put them back? And we go back to work the same way we've done previously.
That last play call for MarshValley was great. Peyton Howe was the inside receiver on the right side. He actually stood at the line of scrimmage and waited for a second or two when the ball was snapped for the receiver on the outside to kind of run the pick, and that allowed him to get the separation across the middle. So here's MarshValley on 4th and 2, hurrying up to the line. Penalty flag flies, and maybe an illegal substitution here. We'll see what the call is. Delay of game against MarshValley. That can't happen.
Yeah, and that's twice that's happened to MarshValley, and took him out of a 4th and short situation both of those times. And now in the ball game is Belknap to punt. You know, there's some penalties that just drive you nuts as a coach. That's one of them. False starts are just bad ones, of which we've only seen a couple tonight. The other one's offsides on a kickoff.
Yes.
That just drives you crazy.
Belknap rolling out, hasn't punted it yet. He's going to try and take off and run for it. It's a fake punt. Belknap reaching. I think he's a half a yard shy on that far sideline, and he didn't get it. Wow, I wonder if that was an option where Belknap could punt if he wanted to. Just decided to take off and run at the last moment. He needed 7. He got 6.5.
Well, we've seen that for the most part. You know, we used to see just straight punt fakes for years, but now we've got that rugby-style run that we're seeing that is kind of that pooch punt, that you can do. You go ahead and get on the run. If you don't have it, go ahead and take it. But, of course, the blocking's got to be there. Sugar only had the single defender there immediately, but he was able to pull off the offensive lineman and get in and get a first hand on so his teammates could come in and make the stop.
So with 2:56 to play in the third, trailing 9-0, Sugar-Salem gets the ball back 1st and 10 at the MarshValley 40. Neal going for the home run ball. It is caught in stride. A diving catch made inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line for a Diggers first down.
We talk about the difference that a Dan Benyon has made in a program like this, bringing that weight room culture from the college level up to the high school level. That right there is a kid who has benefited from that. He was a stringy kid, really skinny, just a sharp kid, but really skinny, and he has got in that weight room, was able to put that necessary muscle on to be able to make plays like he just made.
33 yards to Butikofer and a diving catch. Now a handoff left side. Carson Harris stays upright and runs into the end zone for a 7-yard touchdown.
And if you're MarshValley, that's why you've got to wrap, not bump. A short guy like that who has a great center of gravity, low center of gravity, can come off of a bump. And that's exactly what Carson Harris did on that great run, takes it in for the touchdown, and now Sugar on the board. And now we start seeing what we talked about with that punt is, do you punt and send them back and get back to work in the stops that you've been able to do all game, or do you give them a shorter field? And it ended up with a risk that gave Sugar a short field.
2:23 to play in the third. A 7-yard touchdown run for Carson Harris as he bounced off a defender and took it in the rest of the way. The point after try is through for the Diggers, Kyle Brunson. So Brunson with the PAT, and it is now 9-7. MarshValley's lead down to just 2 with 2:23 to play here in the third.
That makes Kyle Brunson 6 for 6, I believe, on his extra points. Actually, he might even have more than that. I was looking at that stat a little bit earlier.
All right, well, while you look for it, I will tell you that tonight's game is brought to you by ProPete Fertilizer, an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. ProPete can help replace organic matter back into the soil. Peat-bound nutrients release when plants need them. Carbon 90 Plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss, encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. ProPete is a great product for turf and ornamental applications. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. ProPete wants to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, Kyle Brunson, he was actually 16 for 17 extra points coming into this game. 5 for 5 for Contreras. And on field goals, Contreras during the season was 3 for 4. with a 40-yarder being his long in there, he has been unable to convert tonight. Kyle Brunson gets in now 17 for 18 for extra points for the senior who had never put pads on until this year. But now if you're MarshValley, you just got punched back in the mouth. Now, how do you respond?
The fake punt that didn't end up working for MarshValley leads to a 33-yard pass to Butikofer and a 7-yard touchdown run for Harris. This ball through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Tonight's game also brought to you by Upper Valley Orthopedics, the Upper Snake River Valley's renowned state-of-the-art orthopedic and sports medicine clinic. Doctors Michael Larson, Kevin Lee, and Travis Torngren are board-certified orthopedic surgeons treating all conditions of the shoulder, elbow, hand and wrist, hip, knee, foot, ankle, and other sports-related injuries. Call for an appointment, 208-356-9550, or make a request online at uppervalleyortho.com. Upper Valley Orthopedics in Rexburg is a proud supporter of Sugar-Salem Athletics. So we mentioned the delay of game penalty against MarshValley as well. That kind of
they were in go-for-it range and had some motivation. Had some well, not just the motivation, but had that momentum behind them.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after this play. 4 wide, 2 to either side. Roche back to pass, has time over the middle. It's caught by Peyton Howe across the 35, up to the 37, a gain of 17, and a first down. I was going to talk about on that delay of game, part of that the coaching staff has to own because every play, Hunter Roche jogs over to the sideline to get the call and then has to jog back to the huddle.
And it's the same. It's the same on the other side with Sugar, and there's been the timeout that Sugar had to use because they couldn't get it off in time one time, and then the one time they had that broken play because of it too, because Daniel comes over, Daniel Neal, does the same thing, and it takes a lot of time.
18 yards to Peyton Howe. It's 1st and 10 for MarshValley from their own 38-yard line. 1:45 to play in the third. Sugar sends the blitz. Roche rolling out right side. Throws up a deep ball that ends up flying out of bounds over on the far sideline by the MarshValley side.
Yeah, being pursued in the backfield by number 55 from Sugar-Salem, Jarek Rammel, another one of those 20-plus seniors that graduated, or will graduate this year, rather. At least we assume they'll all be academically eligible to graduate.
Yeah. I
don't
even know why you bring that up, Lance. Yeah, come on. Come on, Lance. Oh, we're having fun.
Yeah, there always seems to be that kid now and then that's like one credit short. Has to do summer school.
Summer session, yeah.
Remember that old movie, Summer School? Remember that?
Yes.
That was, boy, that dates me. Holy smokes.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you said it yourself. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Pass completed to the outside. Howe made one man miss, made a second man miss, and picks up 9.
Yeah, he's just short. Maybe even more. Maybe even he might be within like 6 inches of this. As they wind down under a minute and a half now in quarter number 3, and now they're going back to Howe. What did they do? They came out and they started running or doing the run game. The run game now has made Sugar change their defense, and what has it done? It's opened up now the passing game.
Now Peyton Howe had to kind of hobble off the field on that last play.
Yeah, it looked like he twisted his body as he went to the ground. One of the things, we'll talk about it after this play, that I'm glad they've started really picking up on in football. But
3rd and inches for MarshValley. Ball to Sugar-Salem 47, actually their own 47. Trying to crash into the line, and look at this! Belknap passes outside, and gets a block! He could take this the distance! The 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, into the end zone for a MarshValley touchdown! From 53 yards out, but penalty flag right at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, and I think the penalty flag is going to be a hold in that scenario. I thought at first that they had blown the play dead.
Yes.
I thought that's what happened initially, was that they blew the play dead. They're going to meet now as officials, but I thought I heard a whistle blowing the play dead, and then I saw the flag come out, but they have picked the flag up.
Well, it's the one penalty flag is still right at that ISU logo, right in the center of the field there. And Sugar-Salem clapping. They seem to think it's against MarshValley, and it's a block in the back against MarshValley.
Okay. Now, see, I thought initially that they had blown the play dead when there was a stand-up in the middle.
Right.
With that, I thought it had been blown dead. I could have sworn I heard a whistle. Players kept going on. He pops to the outside. In fact, I'd looked down for a slight second to see who the defender was on that, to get a number and a name. And you announce him popping out,
Yes. Michael Belknap was kind of stood up in the middle of the line, And I think Sugar assumed the play would be blown dead, and I don't think it was, and that's why Belknap bounced outside.
I think if you're Michael Belknap, you have aspirations of playing college football, and you want to put a highlight reel together, you still put that on that highlight reel, because that was a fantastic run.
Oh, so MarshValley, a big penalty here, makes it 3rd and 7 now instead of 3rd and inches. 3rd and 7, ball back at their own.
Remember, a penalty kind of ended their last series as well.
Yeah, ball at their own 41-yard line. Roche out of the shotgun, 2 receivers either side, play action fake. Firing over the middle, too high, incomplete. They were trying to go to Peyton Howe, but at least 10 yards over his head, 4th down.
Yeah, and he's garnering, especially on things deep, mid-range he's garnering 2 defenders, deep he's garnering 3, as they are having to be very aware of where Howe is on the field.
41 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. MarshValley 9, Sugar-Salem 7. The Diggers about to get the ball back here following a punt. Now, I assume that MarshValley wouldn't go for a fake punt.
If you're MarshValley here, you cannot afford to give up a short field to the Diggers.
Yeah.
Jason Saunders gets off the field. He didn't know if he's going to make it before the snap.
Well, and Bradley Belknap's been such a weapon punting the ball tonight. So, yeah, I would try and use your weapon. Here's another great kick. A fair catch will be called for at the 21-yard line by Sugar-Salem's Ty Hurlinger. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Diggers. Now, wait, another flag now back at the 39-yard line. Let's see what the call is here. It's holding against MarshValley. And if I'm Sugar, absolutely I make MarshValley.
I make him re-kick it.
Yeah. Boy, so the Eagles are just having a tough go of it in this 3rd quarter with the penalties.
Yeah, it is truly penalties that have hurt MarshValley. When they have been hurt, it's been penalties that have hurt them. In fact, honestly, I almost, that last possession, I almost put more focus on that penalty, that moved them from a 4th and 2 to a 4th and 7, really than I do the fake punt, just because it really should have never had to come down to that.
Right.
If you do an aggressive play and you choose to go for it on that 4th down, 4th and 2, and you don't get it, that's one thing. It's aggressive play, it's normal, you see it quite a bit, but I just thought that fake punt was just way too risky for them at that point of the game.
So Bradley Beal will now punt from his own 16-yard line. Return man stands at the 40, high snap! Gets past Belknap, he has to fall on it inside the 5. It will be 1st and goal for Sugar-Salem at the 4.
Well, and if you are a MarshValley fan here, your heart just dropped into the middle of your chest, or out of the middle of your chest into your stomach, because you're looking at it saying, holy cow, look what we have done now. 2 different punts, 2 different punt scenarios have cost us. One with a bad snap, one with a bad decision.
29 seconds to go in the 3rd, and things unraveling here for MarshValley. It is 1st and goal at the 5-yard line for Sugar-Salem.
And it was a great thing by Belknap to jump on that, because you had pursuing Diggers. You did not want to make that play, have it go from bad to worse.
Neal with Sorensen the lead blocker, handoff to Harris into the end zone from 5 yards out off the right side for a Digger touchdown. And for the first time all night, the Diggers lead for the first time 13-9 with 25 seconds to play in the 3rd.
It took a while for him to do it, but I'll tell you, with a $1:27 on the clock and MarshValley driving with the ball, I thought, boy, Sugar's going to have to make a comeback. If they win, they're going to have to make a comeback in the 4th quarter. And here we are with still a quarter left of a minute, and Kyle Brunson back out on the field.
Brunson 1 for 1 on point after kicks so far tonight. Snap down, hold down. This kick is through. 14-9.
So now 19 for 20, or 19 for 20 on the season for Kyle Brunson on extra points. And if I remember the one that he didn't get, I believe it was a block, not a missed field goal. Or not a missed extra point. But if you're Sugar now, you've got to come out and you've got to play tough defense, because MarshValley's already proven they can move the balls. You know that Howe is a weapon, a huge weapon out there, and you cannot lay back on a 14-9 lead.
Definitely can't. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Stone Ridge Dental in Sugar City. At Stone Ridge Dental, Dr. Carpenter provides his patients with the most up-to-date dental treatment, including CEREC, same-day crowns, implants, and more. With their kind staff, family-friendly setting, and relaxed atmosphere, you and the whole family, including the kids, will feel comfortable throughout your visit. Stone Ridge Dental offers convenient hours to accommodate your busy schedule. Call Stone Ridge Dental in Sugar City at 208-656-2000 to schedule an appointment today, or feel free to visit the website at www.astoneridgesmile.com. All right, 14-9, Sugar-Salem. This is gut check time for MarshValley. They have led almost the entire way as that ball goes through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
We saw Contreras, both his field goals missed to the left, and you notice his kickoffs are going left as well. And of course, these aren't wind-aided, one way or the other. We're inside the dome, and so if it's windy, then we need to call a roofing contractor. But you see him drifting. That's kind of his natural draw, I guess you'd say, like having a draw in a golf game.
Right, he just tends to pull the ball that way. 25 seconds to play in the third. 1st and 10 for MarshValley from their own 20-yard line. Penalties and a couple of bad special teams. Special teams was such a strength in that first half for MarshValley. It's the special teams, the fake punt that didn't get there and the high snap on the punt that's really cost the Eagles.
I would not be surprised to see him put more of this now on the feet of Hunter Roche.
Well, they start with the feet of Bradley Belknap, and the feet of Ryan Harris stops Belknap in his tracks. No gain. And that should take us to the end of the third quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10 for MarshValley from their own 20. We'll flip the field and get ready for the start of the fourth quarter. After 3, the Diggers of Sugar-Salem, they outscore MarshValley in the period 14-0, and they now lead 14-9 as we get ready for the fourth quarter. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Fall River Propane. They serve all of the Upper Valley as well as Island Park with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Their industry-trained and certified service staff offers more than 70 years of experience. Fall River Propane services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves, and they install home comfort systems and on-demand propane water heaters. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime at 800-632-5726. fallriverpropane.com. Experience the difference.
I've cooked a few burgers with Fall River Propane.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Go Bengals sign down here on the west end of the stadium. Would you drive an orange truck like that?
I would not.
That's now I'd take it if it was given to me. Obviously, it's a good-looking truck. It's a beautiful truck. That orange is a little bright for me. But I do drive a GMC, though they have not paid advertising time for our for our channel. But it's not orange. It's black, which is part of my old high school colors and part of Idaho State's colors,
Yes, orange and black for sure. 2nd and 10, start of the fourth quarter. Roche in trouble, sacked back at the 14-yard line. That's Boyd Sorensen.
Yeah. Well, and the defense was fantastic that time on Howe. Howe was the primary receiver on that. The check down receiver on that play was Vaughn, and Vaughn was covered tight. Eventually, Roche just had to tuck that and run.
Roche loses 6 yards on the sack, and it is now 3rd down and 16 for MarshValley from their own 14-yard line.
Yeah, and Roche looked quickly to Howe and just realized it wasn't there and went to the check down side and just was unable to get that off.
From their own 14, 3rd and 16. 2 receivers either side. Roche going to sling it to the far side, and intended receiver was Belknap, but he whizzed it high, and it's 4th down.
Well, you're only down 5 points. I think you go ahead and punt this away if you're MarshValley. But your defense has to come out and get a stop. And your defense has proved when Sugar's had to go the majority of the field, they have stopped Sugar each and every time tonight. It's been on the short fields where Sugar has taken advantage of that and scored.
4th down, Bradley Belknap will punt from his own 2-yard line. And again, the last punt was an adventure. Return man for Sugar stands at his own 40-yard line. Here is the kick, and that got tipped. That got tipped at the line, and a penalty flag for running into the kicker as well. So MarshValley potentially could pick up a 1st down, but we'll see if it's the personal foul variety. And it looked like that was that Cooper Porter who came through there to block that?
It might be, and that's silly in that situation. When a team is that deep punting, you take the result of the punt. You don't ever get in. And now, I mean, as a coach, you like your players to be aggressive. There's no question about it. You want your players to be aggressive, but there's times you got to be smart aggressive, and that's not smart aggressive.
And that was actually Cooper Butikofer who came through. You could tell as soon as the punt came off that it was tipped or interfered with somehow because it only went about 15 yards in the air.
That's a running into variety.
Yes, so only a 5-yard penalty, still 4th down, and MarshValley will have to punt again. Try to see if it's the same punter, though. Might be somebody different.
I believe it is Belknap. He has been so sensational today.
Yes.
Now, and the fact that it was running into him essentially means there was no, well, I don't know if it was touched or not.
Rollout punt, and boy, that one shanked off the side of the foot. Will take a bounce at the 25-yard line, and that was Bradley Belknap, and I don't think he's feeling right after he got clobbered on the last one. He got up kind of slowly, tried to roll out punt that time, and it just shanked.
Well, and even the last one, I don't think that was blocked, because if it's blocked, I don't think they're calling running into the punter.
That could be, because it would be roughing probably, because you're down around the feet.
Yeah. Anyway,
you could be right. I mean, I thought.
I mean,
I
in
thought
college, that's how it's called.
Right.
But I'll have to double check at the high school level exactly how that's called, because I think if it, we'll see.
Well,
yeah, because I think they would have had to call it a roughing penalty if they'd have got a hand on that.
1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem from the MarshValley 24-yard line. They will start with a handoff up the middle to Carson Harris. He will take it to the 20 for a gain of 4.
And now Carson Harris, he started out good, struggled last part of the first quarter and all the second quarter, and really has pulled out here and done some good things in the third. I think a lot of what has been opened up for him here in the second half came from coming out in that aggressive passing game. And then it just spread the defense and opened up the middle for you.
10:20 to play in this ball game. Sugar-Salem leading 14-9, 2nd and 10 for the Diggers. Ball at the MarshValley 40. Harris on the call again, and keeping the feet moving across the 15 to the 14. Should have enough for the first down, and he does. So 6 more yards for Carson Harris. 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem. Ball at the MarshValley 14.
Well, and being on the 14, that means for Sugar they can get another first down before actually scoring a touchdown if that scenario arises. And I think if you're MarshValley here, this is where you got to dig down deep. This is where you got to say, guys, we've had some things that have gone against us in this game. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit self-imposed, but we have got to pull out all stops and do whatever it takes to get a stop here.
Split backs behind Neal. Handoff left side. This is Wyatt Harris inside the 5, down around the 4. That is a gain of 9, 2nd and a short 1.
You got Boyd Sorensen coming back out here on the field. I don't know if in this scenario he is going to be a lineman or if they're going to pop him into the backfield for a potential pass. I would think if you're Sugar in this, you continue, to ride that Carson Harris horse right now. Without it, you got Boyd in the backfield.
On that last touchdown by Carson Harris, he was the lead blocker as the fullback. Man in motion left to right. 2nd down and inches from the 5. Harris right side into the end zone for the touchdown.
Followed him again, right in. Followed Boyd Sorensen.
A 5-yard touchdown run for Carson Harris. And it's now 20-9. Sugar-Salem with 9 minutes to play in this ball game.
The sophomore Carson Harris, it's got to look good as a coach. You look down, you see the contributions for not just an underclassman, but an underclassman sophomore. I think it's kind of the way they felt, Skyline with Sadiq, when he was a little younger, and just knowing you got him back for a while.
That's right. Kyle Brunson, PAT again, and that one bangs through, and a penalty flag at the end.
Yeah, this one's going to be running into the kicker as well.
For MarshValley. And that will be assessed on the kickoff. So 21-9, Sugar-Salem with 9 minutes to play here in this ball game.
Either way, that penalty is irrelevant because you've got a Contreras is going to put it in the end zone either way.
Right.
At least, that's what history proves out. I've always felt, and that's kind of another rule that I've always kind of felt like this. I felt like the team should either have their option of taking that on the kickoff or taking it after the return. And being able to impose the penalty there, because again, it's not enough of an incentive to not maybe kind of rough the punter up or the kicker up a little bit and stuff like that. It doesn't always hurt.
Right. Well, and they still haven't picked up the penalty flag. So, Lance, take a look at this and see if we can figure out what's going on here. And maybe Sugar-Salem wanted to
running into the kicker.
Yeah. They already did this, and they showed it was, extra
okay,
point was good.
Well, maybe what they were looking to do, maybe Tyler Richens was looking and saying, you know what, if that moves us up enough, maybe we go for two. And we get that spread out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to come out, they're going to go for two. That would put them at 22, and it would put them at a 13-point lead if that was able to come true. Now, I'm really conservative on that. I say take the extra point and go with it, but...
Well, the Digger's going to line up and go for two from the one. Neal with split backs, quarterback sneak, and he got in easily.
Yep.
So the 2-point conversion run is in, 22-9.
And again, another penalty that ultimately ended up hurting MarshValley in that scenario. And it really wouldn't have hurt them if it would have been taken on the kickoff.
Right. So 9 minutes to play here in this ball game, 22-9. Sugar-Salem with the lead. Tonight's game brought to you by Sunglow of Idaho, located right in Sugar City on the fertile Snake River Plain. Sunglow is one of the largest Idaho potato shippers and is a leader in the potato industry, known for their consistent quality. It's easy to offer the best when the world-famous Idaho russet potato is grown right there in their own backyard. They aren't bragging when they say Sunglow is potato country. Find out more by going to sunglowIdaho.com. That's Sun, G-L-O, Idaho.com.
Just built a big addition onto their building, a massive addition. They're expanding out there.
Yeah. Sunglow, proud to support the Sugar-Salem boys in the game. Go Diggers. Well, Halloween was last week, Lance, but this has been a house of horrors for MarshValley in this second half. We'll see if the Eagles can chip away at this deficit. They led 9-0, and Sugar-Salem has scored the last 22 points in this game. Here comes another kickoff from Contreras, and he'll send that one through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Tonight's game also brought to you by Crapo Trucking. Another penalty flag here at the 40-yard line. I'm going to get this read in real quick, though. Crapo Trucking, a locally owned and operated heavy haul trucking company situated right in St. Anthony. Their office is located at 1908 East 500 North, or give them a call at 208-624-3293. Being part of the community is important for Crapo Trucking, and they're proud to support all of the local schools and student athletes. The crew at Crapo Trucking want to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck tonight. What do we got here, you think, Lance?
It might have. I wonder for a moment if it was an offsides on the kickoff, which we've talked about several times, but it was thrown back here, which leads me to believe it could have only been on Sugar.
Yeah, it's thrown around the 40-yard line of MarshValley.
Yeah, and it's coming out to the 20, so apparently, or are they?
Now, they might be asking Coach Armstrong from MarshValley what he wants to do here. Here comes the call. Personal foul, helmet to helmet against MarshValley. Okay, so that's
a personal foul penalty. That moves them back to the 5-yard line. Actually, it's half the distance to the goal, so it shouldn't go all the way back. Now, that's another rule that I've always felt. I think as long as they have the yards to exact off the total amount, you do it.
Yep.
And when there's not enough, then go half the distance. But if there's enough, you. Again, that's the farm boy in me. That's the punishment side. That's the
that's the law and order side of you.
That's the hey, the cattle have to be fed, even if you got strep throat.
Right.
You're not going to get them sick. Get out there and do it. That's.
First and 10 for MarshValley from their 10. Roche, pump fake on first down. Now taking a deep shot over the middle. A juggling catch is nearly intercepted. Howe had it and lost it. And then for the Diggers, in and out of the hands, it was Butekofer who almost picked it.
I'll tell you what I really liked about that pass. That was actually a fantastic pass from Roche. Now, whether he meant to get it quite that high or not, he put it in a place where if it was going to be caught, it could only be his guy that caught it.
Right.
And, you'll see that a lot on sidelines and things like that. But I thought that was a very good pass by Roche.
So 2nd and 10 for MarshValley now. Again, ball at their own 10-yard line. 8:52 to play in this ball game, trailing 22-9. Out of the pistol formation, Roche with 4 wide. Here comes the pressure. Evades one rusher. On the run, will float it towards the sideline, and now a penalty flag comes out at the 30. We'll see what the call is here.
That might be holding against Cooper Porter. He might have held the receiver when he went to make his break. And, of course, holding's even a penalty inside 5 yards. Your bump's not, but your hold is.
8:44 to play here.
Yeah, it's going to be on Sugar. Oh, they're going to call flat-out pass interference.
Yeah. So that is a first down for MarshValley, not because it's an automatic first down, but because the penalty yardage was enough to give MarshValley the first down.
I was interested, it was interesting to me that they actually called that as a pass interference rather than a hold.
Right.
Because it did not happen.
Well, and the ball was thrown out of bounds, too. It wasn't catchable.
And there was no bump as the ball got near. That wasn't the point. I mean, either way, it goes in MarshValley's favor. It just surprised me how they exacted that penalty.
1st and 10 from the 25. Deep shot, just overshot Peyton Howe. Actually, that was Vaughn. Alex Vaughn at the 35-yard line. So Roche had plenty of time to throw it, uncorked a deep ball, and missed him by about a foot. 2nd down. And for MarshValley, you can see it. They were so loose and cool and calm in that first half. They really tightened up here.
Well, they scored that 9 points, went up 9 unanswered points, and then all of a sudden Sugar puts 22 unanswered on the board, and you start questioning yourself. I think that's just a natural thing for anybody to do.
2nd and 10. Roche, another penalty flag comes out. Roche rolling out left side, trying to keep the play alive. I think this is going to be on MarshValley. Will uncork another deep throw for Vaughn. It is in and out of the hands of the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and this is going to be a holding penalty either way. All the play did was just delay the exact of the call.
8:21 to play, and boy, Lance, we can't go one play without a penalty flag.
Yeah, and we talked about in the third quarter how fast it was going because there was only a couple flags thrown, and they were for simple things, and a lot of the calls here in the fourth have had to require.
And that is a chop block call against MarshValley.
Wow,
that's a big one. That's a 15-yarder. And that will move it all the way back to MarshValley's 12.
From a penalty standpoint, not only did the wheels come off, you dropped your entire drivetrain. It just everything from a penalty standpoint has been going against MarshValley.
Yeah, it's like a totally different team came out in this second half. 2nd and 24 now for MarshValley from their own 11 with 8:21 to play. Trailing 22-9, and every time they make a play, they just self-inflicted wounds. Split backs behind Roche under center. It will be a pitch and then a double handoff to Peyton Howe. He's brought down at the 1. That's Jonah Schulteis coming up with a stop, and they tried the double handoff, and Howe was swallowed up.
Yeah, well, Howe took that. When you're taking that that second handoff, you're slowing down just a teeny bit. He was already being chased by Schulteis. Schulteis gets him down. And look, they gave him the forward progression, put him on the 3-yard line. That looked to me like it should have really been around the 1. But again, just one of those things that just went from bad to worst, and Sugar sniffed that out.
That is a tough spot to execute that play because you're back at your own 11-yard line where everything's kind of tight. Everything's bunched in tight. A play like that really works when you're in the middle of the field where things are more open.
Well, and you might just need to hear to get out to the point where you can give your punter some room. And you might want to test that middle because the edges have not been good to you and you haven't been able to complete passes as of late.
3rd and 32. Roche firing deep. Off the hands of Belknap, incomplete at the 25-yard line. It's 4th down. MarshValley will have to punt again.
Helped up by Trevin Holman. Trevin Holman is a junior this year. Moved up here as an 8th grader to the Sugar area. His mother born and raised in Sugar, but he was born and raised up until that point in Phoenix.
Oh,
or
wow.
the Phoenix Valley. I
Sure.
don't know exactly what city. But his mom came up and took a job at the local college up there. And Trevin's been a big addition to the Sugar programs.
Yeah, welcome. So here is the punt by, Bradley Belknap. Something is just not right. That punt only goes to the 25. He gets a good roll to the 30, and it will be downed at the 36-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem.
Well, as good as he was in the first half punting, it's been that bad for him in the second half.
Kicking is a weird mental thing sometimes. It can come and go just like that. It all seemed to, after that high snap where he had to go back and get it, it's almost like he's more concerned with getting the snap back instead of focusing on the kick.
Yeah.
It's just, it's weird. It's bizarre.
And the energy that we saw from the MarshValley fans during the first half of the game and right at the start of the third quarter, we're now seeing that energy over on the Sugar side. You see them next to each other. You got the contrast of the royal blue and the red, over there on that side of the stadium, and everything has just changed.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Handoff to Wyatt Harris, and he comes up a little hobbled.
Yeah, Bradley Belknap, who tackled him, came up a little hobbled too. Both number 20s in on that play.
It's been one of those nights. 2 yards for Wyatt Harris on that carry to make it 2nd and 8 from the MarshValley 34. 6:40 to go. Diggers are just trying to work the clock a little bit now.
Yeah, they are. At this point, now it becomes their clock management. We saw MarshValley really do a good job of controlling the clock in the first half and, playing good defense where they were able to get those stops. But now the clock is not in their favor. Now you do have to hurry up if you get it.
2nd and 8, handoff right side. This is Cooper Porter on the carry, and Porter kind of crashes into a couple of guys and picks up a couple.
Well, and occasionally what you'll see is, your main running backs are going to be Harris and Harris.
And Harris.
And Harris. But what you'll see, and of course that was a standard, split back in the backfield that time. Usually what you see, if you see Cooper Butekofer or Cooper Porter with it, you usually get to see a sweep that's happening on that particular play.
So Cooper Porter picks up 2, and he's still in there in the backfield. I wonder if he's in there for Wyatt Harris, who had to leave with that injury. 3rd and 6. Neal in trouble. The ball came out. It's recovered by MarshValley. This could be a scoop and score. The 40, the 30, makes a cut inside of the 20 and brought down at the 15-yard line. Bradley Belknap with the fumble recovery. It bounced right into his hands, and he headed all the way down to the 15.
The sack on the quarterback, and the ball comes out, bounces off the ground. Belknap scoops it, but then it's Daniel Neal who fumbled it, who comes all the way down the field to make the tackle down on the other end. What a crazy change of events there, and you saw the MarshValley fans. They're sitting right across from us. We're on the opposite side of the stadium from the fans, and fans are on the north end for both schools, and we saw their fans come to their feet, and of course this is high school football. You think a team is out or down mentally or whatever, and it only takes as much as a play can take you out at this age, it can also bring you back in at this age.
A big fumble recovery for Bradley Belknap off the sack. 1st and 10 for MarshValley from the Sugar 17. Throwing the jump ball, broken up. Trying to go to Peyton Howe, double covered, and Butekofer got his hands on it for Sugar.
Yeah, there was tight coverage by Trevin Holman, who was down there, so it would have been tough to get in there anyway, but then it was just tipped by Butekofer as he popped over to that side. The 6'3" Butekofer able to use that height in there.
2nd and 10 for MarshValley, 5:29 to play, so, they can score here and kick off, and they have 3 timeouts left. Their defense, they trust it.
I really like that first down play call right there.
Yes.
I like that. I like that aggressiveness going for the end zone. The clock is working against you at this point.
And off a turnover, you always go for the home run ball. 2 receivers either side. Roche going to try and take off and run. Bouncing to the outside. Stiff arm and out of bounds around the 16.
Boy, and Ryan Harris closed out quick. Ryan Harris, very underrated speed. And you saw he was behind, and he made that speed, and he's not a player that's afraid to get hurt, so he's going to dive at the ankles.
Yeah, Roche got a yard there. He thought about cutting it upfield and saw Harris, and he's like, maybe I could beat him to the edge. And,
and of course, we have a bird's eye view from here, and I felt that Roche could have probably got another 10 yards had he have stayed straight on that. He went ahead and veered left on that. But again, we see things different up here than they see down there on the field.
Everybody is gigantic down there on the field. They look like ants from where we're at, Lance.
I don't want that guy hitting me, so you go this way.
Right. 3rd and 9 for MarshValley. 5:20 to play at the Sugar 16-yard line, down 22-9. Trying to rally back. That ball came out, and Sugar-Salem jumped on top of it, but I think we're going to get a false start here against MarshValley.
Yeah, it's going to go down as a no play. They'll get 3rd down over with a 5-yard penalty.
I mean, because the ball didn't even get back to Roche in the shotgun there. And it is a false start.
Yeah. Well, Boyd Sorensen knew it, because he was playing the left defensive end for Sugar, and he just kind of stood there, and he didn't even move in to the backfield because he was kind of waiting for that to be called.
Right.
He noticed it, but a little late on it. Better late than never, I guess. And you know what? For MarshValley, okay, you did it. Just get back in and make your play. You got to score anyway, so get back in and make your play. Don't panic over it.
And it's now 3rd and 14. Ball at the Sugar 21. Obvious 2-down territory. You don't have to get all 14 yards here on this play. 2 receivers either side. Roche out of a pistol here on 3rd and 14 from the Sugar 21. Has time, standing tall. Now rolling out right side. Going to fire back towards the left side of the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown.
Touchdown, MarshValley.
Boy, it hung in the air for an eternity. And coming down with the touchdown reception for MarshValley, I believe, is Bryson Belknap. Let's double check.
It is Bryson Belknap.
What a tremendous 21-yard touchdown. And MarshValley, Mama, don't call it yet.
Well, they pull within a score. And if they get this, they only need a touchdown without an extra point to tie on an next one if they get this this extra point.
Bradley Belknap on for the point after try. And this one
looks good.
Yeah, it's through. So, with 5:07 to play in the 4th quarter, the big fumble recovery by Bradley Belknap leads to the 21-yard touchdown pass from Roche to Bryson Belknap. And the Bradley Belknap point after kick makes it 22-16 with 5:07 to play. MarshValley hanging around here. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Lava Hot Springs, your destination for a relaxing day away from it all. Both teams could use a little soak after the game tonight. Just 10 minutes from McCammon and I-15. They're open daily from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and they're open till 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and they are happily welcoming visitors to sit and enjoy their world-famous hot pools. The all-natural geothermal hot springs are always a warm 102 to 112 degrees. Their indoor aquatic center is open for the fall season on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and they offer kiddie splash time on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Lava Hot Springs is taking extra precautions to ensure your safety at this time and asks patrons to be respectful of others as you come and soak all your worries away. Check out LavaHotSprings.com for more information.
Yeah, I can tell you've been in Idaho for enough time now, because we do in Idaho, we call it lava, although
Yes.
it's lava.
Right.
But Idahoans call it Lava Hot Springs.
Yeah, I never understood it. I didn't question it. I just rolled with it. So that's right. I'm a Montana native, but I'm picking up the lingo.
Fun little community.
Yeah,
lava. Summertime, of course, wintertime's great with those, with the hot pools right down the middle of the town. The big Olympic pools and platforms are great to go and use during the summertime.
And then a lot of people float the river too.
Yeah. We actually do both. We take the kids down there and float the river and get our. In fact, what's funny is my youngest boy, he's just a 6th grader. He's got a big old, looks like a keloid scar on his knee from last summer going down the river. First time down, we went down like 4 or 5 times that day. First time down, he cuts that thing wide open. He didn't care.
Oh boy.
He's just like, I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh,
this is an offsides.
Squib kick by MarshValley and false start and back it up, kick again.
Yeah, and that might have been better news for MarshValley right there, because they might be able to do an onside and get it. They weren't going to on that one for sure.
Right. I don't know that they were trying to necessarily.
It was an odd kick, even for a squib kick. It was an odd.
Yeah.
It was kind of an odd kick.
Well, either way, they'll get a mulligan, but they're going to have to kick from their own 35-yard line now. 22-16 Sugar-Salem with 5:07 to play in this 3A quarterfinal matchup. The winner gets the winner of South Fremont and Homedale next week in the semifinals. Bradley Belknap ready to kick again, and this time he will boot it deep, and this one will take a bounce at the 7-yard line. It'll be picked up by Schulteis there, and boy, he just kind of goes into the fetal position at the 12-yard line to fall on top of it.
Yeah, and that was a good case scenario for MarshValley because, if you can get a turnover down here or get a 4-down stop, you put yourself in some pretty good position.
Yes. Now it's time for the MarshValley defense to answer the call. They did on the last drive, right, forcing the turnover. And for Sugar-Salem, now we've talked about how this is a boxing match. Well, now Sugar's been popped in the nose, and how do they respond?
That's right. Of course, this is the home field for the Idaho State University Bengals. They find themselves on the road today this week with their 1-7 record. They're going down to play BYU, which will not be a pretty game for the Bengals, but they will come home with a nice fat paycheck, which is why 1AA teams will play a Division I team.
1st and 10 for Sugar, pushing the pile out to the 10-yard line. I believe that was Carson Harris on the carry, actually Wyatt Harris.
Of course, having mentioned those games, we saw the big upset to start the season with Montana knocking off Washington.
As a Missoula native, that made me so proud. Yeah, I'm a big University of Montana fan.
That was and it really looked like Montana was going to run away with the Big Sky, but tell you what, Eastern Washington is something special right now. They are very good.
Their offense is sizzling. Montana
600-yard passing game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Montana was missing their starting quarterback for a couple of games. So 2nd down and 7. Handoff off the left side this time. This is Carson Harris breaking it to the 20 and the 21-yard line, still going, and ultimately will be brought down around the 22. A gain of 12 and a 1st down. That was that was Wyatt Harris. Yeah, Wyatt. Yeah, okay, so Wyatt with a gain of 12.
Both numbers end with a 0. They're both about the same height. They both have the last name. If we say Harris, we're going to be correct most of the time.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. So a 13-yard gain to the 23-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Sugar gets a little breathing room now, and the clock continues to roll. 3:45 to play in this ballgame. Split backs behind Neal under center. Handoff right side. Exploding into the secondary. Carson Harris. A gain of 9. Alex Vaughn comes up to make the touchdown-saving tackle. And they will say he got enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, he just barely got enough for that 1st down on that. And if you're Sugar, what I like here is they're not taking all the time off the play clock, things like that, because I'm one that always looks and says, don't ever stop what's working for you. Don't stop doing what's working for you, and then all of a sudden give something back and give a team a chance that you might have been able to go and score again on, And of course, we see that in basketball almost more than any sport, but you do see it in football as well.
3:10 and counting. MarshValley trying to get a stop on 1st and 10. This is Carson Harris off the left side, a gain of a yard. That's it, as Colin Williams came up to make the tackle.
Now, something to consider, MarshValley has all 3 of their timeouts, as they just used one right here. Sugar has 2 of their timeouts. Now, of course, MarshValley down to 2, having used that one. But that's where the benefit of saving those comes in. You're 1 touchdown down in this game, plus just an extra point from potentially winning if you get in the end zone. So you got to be smart with those.
3:01 to play in the 4th. 22-16. Sugar with the lead and the ball. A 2nd and 7 from their own 37-yard line. MarshValley spends the first of their 3 timeouts. Tonight's game brought to you by Bishard Realty, the Bishard team at Silver Creek Realty Group, where they help families in their community with all your real estate needs. It's their first priority. They're grateful to be able to serve all of Southeast Idaho to help you find your next home. The Bishard Realty team wants to wish the MarshValley boys good luck in tonight's game. And tonight's game also brought to you by Grand Peaks Pharmacy, a full-service pharmacy located in St. Anthony, and they're committed to provide the highest quality care to their patients and community. Grand Peaks pharmacists and staff work as a team with your provider to help achieve the best outcomes for you. Grand Peaks Pharmacy would like to wish the Sugar-Salem boys good luck.
Bishop's Realty there. Of course, real estate has taken a huge jump in the state of Idaho. Yours took an extremely huge jump where you happen to be located.
Yeah.
That couldn't have been better.
We didn't know that when we bought our house, but 2nd and 7. This is Harris. Actually,
Boyd Sorensen.
Yeah, Boyd Sorensen on the fullback carry. only gets a yard, and MarshValley quickly will spend their second timeout with 2:53 to play. So Sorensen only gets a yard on the right side, and so it's 3rd down and 6 now for Sugar with 2:53 to go. This is a big play coming up.
This is a big play coming up. Boyd Sorensen, occasionally they'll kind of off-step and do a little play like that. Boyd's one of those players that he's kind of like Carl Malone doing a dunk back in the day, where Carl said, I'm going to go up as hard as I can. You might draw the charge on me, but it's going to hurt to the point where you're going to think twice before you draw a charge on me next time. And stuff. Boyd kind of runs that same way. It's like, hey, I might not have got a lot of yards, but you're going to think twice before you come in and take me head on that kind of play.
Carl Malone was a tough dude. He was.
Oh man,
he was. All right, so 3rd and 6 for Sugar-Salem. 2:53 to go in this ball game. Ball is at their own 38-yard line. MarshValley has 1 timeout remaining. Sugar-Salem has 2. The Diggers pick up a first down here. They're really going to be able to bleed that clock.
I think if you're Sugar-Salem in this scenario, I think you put Boyd in the backfield and you use him as a blocker and run a Carson Harris off of him on that particular block. But I think you do that by widening out your receivers, have at least a twin on one side and single on the other, or double twins in order to do that. We'll see if it looks like Boyd is coming into the backfield here. But no Wyatt Harris with him, so it looks like it might be a pass. It might be blocking duties.
Personal protector trips to the right, tight end to the left. Here on 3rd and 7. Neal back to pass, feeling the heat, avoids the first rusher. Now he's going to take off and run, stretches for the first down and gets it at the 45-yard line.
What a huge play by Daniel Neal to do that. Had he not have stretched the ball, it would have been close, but I think he would have been a little bit shy of the first down marker.
I agree. He needed 6 and he got 7. I thought MarshValley, they almost got home on the sack, and Neal was able to burst past the pass rusher. And he saw the opening and stretched for it. 1st down and 10 now for Sugar-Salem. 2.5 to play. MarshValley has 1 timeout left. They're going to hang on to it, though. Ball is at the 45-yard line of Sugar. And now Neal will line up with split backs behind him here. Will turn and hand off to Harris, and Harris met right at the line of scrimmage. And now you see MarshValley trying to rip that ball out, trying to force a takeaway. Carson Harris will get right back to the line of scrimmage, and they'll give him a yard. And now MarshValley will spend that final timeout. So Carson Harris only gets a yard. But
Daniel Neal, only had 98 rushing yards on the season coming into this game total, and none bigger than those ones.
Well, that was his longest run of the night, that 7-yard scramble, and that now gives him 14 for the game. So that half of his rushing yardage came on one play.
MarshValley had a wrap on him, a half wrap on him in the backfield, or at least on the line of scrimmage, and he was able to squirt out of that. He is, he's not your quick, running quarterback. He's not kind of that, triple threat option type quarterback. But what he is he's strong. And so if you do wrap him, it takes a little bit to get him down. So it's got to be more than a one-armed wrap.
Kind of like a Josh Allen in the NFL, right?
Very much so. Very much a game like a Josh Allen. I think kind of Ben Roethlisberger in his younger days was a bit that way as well.
Yeah.
Not a big runner, but could run. Could use his legs if he needed to. But more than anything, just brought in that big body, that big strength that was tough. It was tough to take him down, particularly if you're a safety, and you're having to come up to help that out. He's going to outsize you.
Yep. So MarshValley out of timeouts, 2:08 to play. It is 2nd down and 9 for Sugar-Salem at their own 46-yard line.
Now you got Harris in the backfield with Sorensen. It looks like Sorensen's going to block for him.
They will hand off right side to Carson Harris, trying to break it to the outside. Penalty flag comes out at the 50-yard line. That will stop the clock with 2:03 to go.
I think that's either going to be a hold or a face mask, and I think either way that might be on Sugar-Salem.
They're going over to talk to MarshValley head coach Doug Armstrong. And this penalty stops the clock with 2:03 to go. And it would have been about 3rd down and 5 for Sugar based on the result of the play. That's a holding call against the Diggers. That's a big one.
Well, I thought it was either going to be a holding or a face mask. It looked like Carson Harris, when he was carrying the ball, reached out to stiff arm, and it looked like he grabbed the face mask of the defender as well. You don't see that called very often on the offense, but it does occasionally happen.
And now it's 2nd down and 16 for MarshValley. Coach Richens for Sugar-Salem is trying to say, shouldn't the clock be running? And I don't think so. On a penalty, that clock stops.
Not on the penalty like that,
Yep,
yeah.
the clock stops. So that's a big break for MarshValley. 2:03 to play, 2nd and 16 for Sugar-Salem now following that holding call at their own 39-yard line. And MarshValley trailing 22-16, trying to get the ball back. Split backs again, handoff to Harris, bouncing it to the outside. He's got one man to beat, and he is close to the first down marker, about a yard shy, I think. It'll be 3rd down and 1. What a run for Harris on the outside. That was Carson Harris picking up 15 yards.
Well, and Carson Harris, the sophomore, has just been special today. Again, it took him a couple games of this season to really get used to the speed, the size of the varsity players, and so forth, and he has really responded to the challenge. I think probably, and of course you hate to say this is never a good scenario, but maybe the best thing that happened for the development of his game was the several weeks off his brother had to take, who was...
3rd and 1, and they're going to sneak, and Neal's going to push it ahead, and that will do it with 1:19 to go. So 3rd down and 1, they go with a quick count, and Neal is able to quarterback sneak it for a gain of 2, and Sugar-Salem will survive and advance, but MarshValley gave them everything they had tonight.
Yeah, they did. Boy, MarshValley played a great game. The third quarter and the last half of the third and the start of the fourth was kind of where the wheels came off. They were very good before that, and they've actually been good here late in the fourth quarter as well. But it just shows what kind of a lull period in a game can do.
And now Sugar-Salem going to take a timeout with 51 seconds to go. And
I think they're just going to nil on it at this point.
Right.
I think it might be one of those things to try to get some of the other players in that haven't got any playing time so they can get a letter, actually.
So
you have to have logged at least a down to do that, I believe.
Yes, because it goes by quarters, right?
Yeah.
So just if you get one play in a quarter, then it counts. So 51 seconds to go. It's 1st and 10 for Sugar-Salem, ball at the MarshValley 44-yard line. They can kneel down and run out the clock. MarshValley doesn't have any timeouts left. The Eagles needed a big stop. They had Sugar right where they wanted them. 2nd and 16 following that holding penalty, and they lost the outside contain.
Yeah.
And Harris was able to get 15 yards, and then on 3rd and 1, Neal picks up 2 yards, and here we are. What a game tonight, though. I mean, MarshValley jumped out to the lead, led at halftime 9-0. Sugar scored the next 22. You thought MarshValley was dead in the water. They come charging back. Boy, I'm exhausted. Looks like Sugar's just going to kneel down and, like you said, get some other players. Lincoln Robson in there.
Yeah, Lincoln's in there, and Lincoln has logged a few plays this year as well. So Lincoln, a junior, and I think Lincoln will actually have a significant role in this team next year.
That's how you build a program, right? You just keep on.
MarshValley's got to be brokenhearted, but I tell you what, MarshValley is such a dangerous team for anybody to play. They are not a team that you like looking on your schedule and saying, coming into a playoffs like this and saying, oh, yeah, we got MarshValley, because MarshValley is that team that has the potential at any time to step up and knock somebody off.
One more kneel down for Sugar, and they'll start the celebration as they survive 22-16 the final over MarshValley, advancing to the semifinals yet again, where they will play either Homedale or South Fremont. Either way, an old familiar face for these Diggers.
Either way. The difference will be is where you play that at. Of course, if Homedale was to win that game tomorrow, then you've got that game will be out somewhere near the Boise Valley, whether they choose to host it on their home field or go to one of the available neutral sites. That's one thing, but it will not be in eastern Idaho if Homedale wins that game. If South was to step up and win that, then it would be played here in eastern Idaho.
We'll be right back here in Holt Arena.
Yep.
So that game will be played Saturday at 1 o'clock in Homedale. So Sugar fans, if they want to, could go watch that and take it in. So Sugar-Salem wins over MarshValley 22-16. We'll step aside and come back with the post-game show where we will hand out our IdahoSports.com player of the game, among other things. So keep it right here. You're listening to the 2021 Idaho High School Football Playoffs on IdahoSports.com.
trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Athletes know how important it is to stay hydrated. But did you know there are other ways to hydrate besides just drinking water? In fact, milk is a great hydration option because it actually contains water as well as electrolytes that are lost when your body sweats. So consider taking milk along with you to your next game or competition and enjoy the taste of greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
It's time to start planning for back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
A hit in the morning, another between class, after school, and more before bed. Vaping sucks you in quick. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems everyone's talking about. That's why thousands of teens are ready to take back their life their own way with My Life, My Quit. When you sign up with us, you'll get a free and simple quit plan that makes it easier to stop vaping. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
You train, you sweat, you practice, you go for the gold, you give 110%, but most of all, you aim for greatness. And milk is the performance enhancer that can help get you to your goal. Trusted by athletes and backed by science, there's a healthy helping of greatness in every refreshing glass of milk. So let nature's original sports drink help quench your thirst for greatness. For more help finding your greatness, visit unbottled.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process. It's readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Welcome into the IdahoSports.com postgame show from Holt Arena in Pocatello. Brandon Bainey alongside Lance Taylor as, well, this 3A quarterfinal matchup was everything we could have asked for and more. The fourth-seeded Diggers, the defending 3A state champs from Sugar-Salem, advance with a 22-16 victory over fifth-seeded MarshValley. This was a wild game of swings. It was zeros at the end of the first quarter, 9-0 MarshValley at halftime. Sugar then scored the next 22 unanswered to take a 22-9 lead. Sugar scored late, MarshValley scored late to bring it to within 22-16, but ultimately just couldn't get that last stop on defense.
Yeah, and you know, and they almost did. There were a couple of those plays that Sugar barely reached it, but did, you know, and you know, if you move the chains, and especially when the team becomes out of timeouts, pretty tough to come back from that.
Yeah, the big development was Hunter Roche for MarshValley after completing 50% of his passes in the first half, 7 of 14. In the second half, he completed just 3 of 10. Just 3 of 10 in the second half. So that was the difference, I thought, for MarshValley in that second half as they got away from it a little bit. But for Sugar-Salem, they advanced. They will play either Homedale or South Fremont in the quarterfinals. That game will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday in Homedale. the Homedale South Fremont game, and then depending on who wins that, time and date to be announced for Sugar next week in the semifinals. But the other big difference is Sugar's been here and done this before. For MarshValley, they're a team that's still learning how to win in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know that knowledge that you just feel like you're on a home field every time you play, because you just feel so comfortable no matter where you go because you've done it. I think that in and of itself is worth a touchdown in a game.
Yeah.
And maybe even more.
Yep. Well, let's hand out our IdahoSports.com player of the game. A lot of worthy candidates for Sugar-Salem, but clear consensus on this one.
Yeah, Carson Harris, the sophomore, just did so much for the Diggers, and you look what he did with the 16 carries, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns, and you figured out the percentage on that set or the yard breakdown, 7.9 yards per carry, and you got to consider that he had a couple big runs in the first quarter, and after that just a couple little ones, and in the second quarter just did nothing.
Right.
It was closed down. It wasn't that they weren't handing him off the ball. It was just shut down, and then just had a brilliant second half.
We talked about it. You said at halftime the big key for MarshValley was going to be keeping that edge. The defensive ends had to hold the edge, and a couple of times they got lost in the wash, and that's when Harris was able to break off a couple of big runs, including that 15-yard run on 2nd and 16 that essentially clinched it for the Diggers. So Sugar-Salem moving on. They improved to 7-2 on the season. MarshValley's season concludes with a 4-5 overall mark, but nothing to be ashamed of for the Eagles. They've got a lot of good athletes, but as one of the smaller 3A programs, there's problems that they run into.
Yeah, well, and it requires, a coach really has to be on top of that, because you can't always just run the same thing year in, year out, because you're just dealt a different hand all the time, the smaller the school you are, and so you got to be very flexible and moldable as a coach in that. Sugar has been in a position these last several years where they have pretty much been able to kind of run a similar system year in, year out, and just make a couple minor changes, and Sugar moves on and plays what most people think will be Homedale next week, but Homedale's got to step up and play a South Fremont team that has been able to do okay.
That's right. So that'll be a lot of fun next week in the semifinals. Thanks for tuning in to this IdahoSports.com game streams production of the 2021 Idaho State Football Tournament. Tournament coverage has been brought to you by the Idaho Division of Public Health, your local Toyota dealer, Valley-wide Co-op and Country Stores, and Project Filter. Stop smoking, start living. We'd also like to thank all of our local sponsors tonight: Taylor Chevrolet, Pro Pete, Pocock Trucking, Upper Valley Orthopedics, Crapo Trucking, Fall River Propane, Sun Glow of Idaho, Stone Ridge Dental, Lava Hot Springs, Bishard Realty, and Grand Peaks Medical, Dental, Behavioral Health, and Pharmacy in Rexburg and St. Anthony. Congratulations again to Carson Harris, our IdahoSports.com player of the game. Finishes with 126 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground as the Sugar-Salem Diggers advance to the semifinals with a 22-16 win over MarshValley. For Lance Taylor, I'm Brandon Baney. Plenty of broadcasts still to come on the schedule. Lance, you're going to be in Rigby tomorrow night for a 5A quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah, Rigby Eagle, Rigby Capital in a 5A quarterfinal matchup. That should be good. And of course, the next day, a rematch from earlier on in this season. It's North Fremont as Melba comes into town. That's when they played at Melba earlier in the season. North Fremont won that 48-38 in a high-scoring game, so that'll be an interesting one.
I'll be here at Holt Arena tomorrow night for a doubleheader. Pocatello hosting Bishop Kelly at 5:30. That will be followed by Firth taking on Declo in a 2A quarterfinal at 7 o'clock.
Both those have the potential to be a very, very good matchup.
Yep, and then Saturday I'll be in Westside for Grangeville and Westside in a 2A quarterfinal, and then I will be back here at Holt Arena for the late game Saturday night as Skyline welcomes in Valley View. Yes, so that's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to see all the games that we are broadcasting, because we're doing a ton this weekend, just click on the Game Streams tab at IdahoSports.com.
That Skyline Valley View game could be a very good game. Of course, Valley View knocked off an undefeated team to come in Minico, and so it's a different Valley View team than people are expecting.
That's right. Well, I'll say for all the teams that are going to play in Holt Arena this weekend, Sugar-Salem and MarshValley set the bar pretty high.
Yeah, they did.
So Diggers win 22-16 for Lance Taylor. I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for watching/listening on IdahoSports.com. Good night, everybody.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com game streams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is